Good morning, everybody. We're coming to you live from the WZAA studios here in Jeffersonville. We got the wild, wonderful Kim, and the lovely lady Sydney on my right. I tell you, I'm a lucky guy, aren't I? Look at Kim. You can scoot up. There you go. There you go. Yeah, we want to get you in the picture here. Yeah, you're good. You're good. and Rick will be with us here in just a minute. So. Those of you watching us on Facebook Live, if you guys would rather watch us, you can go to my page, Charlie Hargrave, and you can check us out there. And but if you just want to listen and you want to listen to 50s, 60s music, you can have that back at 10 o'clock this morning, okay? Until then, we're going to talk about current events and what's going on a little bit in Ohio. And I tell you what, it seems like a freaking circus every week that we get on here because there's something new that's crazy in the world. Have you guys noticed that lately?
The world's lost its mind.
Yep. Let's see. We got some people listening already. Let's throw some shout outs here to Kelly Donaldson, James Palmer, Dave Hurst, Wayne Turner. Dave Hurst, how you doing this morning? And there's 4 others that are watching with me, but I can't tell who they are right now. So, anyhow, I got a whole laundry list of stuff. But how was everybody's week, first of all? Everybody good?
Yeah.
A good week?
Yeah. Good week.
It's good to see you a couple times. Kim and her motorcycle gang was out. It's not a motorcycle gang.
Yeah, don't say gang, not a gang.
Motorcycle club was out and about this week, come to a couple of my car things, which we have one tonight down Chubby's. So. Yeah.
That was a good place. I want to try their pizza this time.
Their pizza is good. The High Point burger is really good down there.
No, I can say that's true.
You ever eat at Chubby's down there?
Maybe I don't know, maybe a chili dog or something like that.
I tell you, they have. If you like Frisch's Big Boys, they have a thing called the High Point burger. Yeah. I spoiled myself this morning. I stopped at Wendy's on the way in here, and got the Baconator, yes. Oh my God.
He was telling me about this before we went on air.
It was good. But they also have these like iced coffees that are based on their frosty stuff, and it was good. Just tell you. And I am not a spokesman for Wendy's, but I tell you what,
he's trying to become a brand ambassador.
So
good. If anybody has the hookup at Wendy's, please let Charlie Hargrave know.
Brand ambassador. That's why I'm wearing my NASCAR shirt today. See that? I mean,
I do.
Well, and that's one of our topics today. You know, I got like 8 topics written down here, and I don't know where to start really. I mean, the riots are still going on. But now we're tearing down statues.
Yeah. Now, see, and here's the thing. Across history, when another people invaded and won the war, they stripped out their history. They poured down the statues, pulled out the artwork, set it on fire, lit the books on fire, all of that. In when our Revolutionary War times, that's exactly what they did. They pulled down a statue of King George III over in the States.
Saddam Hussein,
and all, yeah. So when that craziness that's happening, I'm not on board with all of that. It's history they're erasing, good history or bad.
I mean, to me, whether or not history is good or bad, history happened. Yes. You can't just make it go away because you didn't like it.
That's right.
Like,
or you want to write it your own way.
You know, you can't change it.
No,
that's what happened. You know.
Yes,
so
I completely agree.
I think it needs to be documented properly, and we need to teach what really did happen. Mm-hmm. You can't just change it because you didn't like what happened.
I would even go so far, I wouldn't say like destroying the statues, but if you took them down, putting them in a museum or something that would, an artifact of that time. You know what I mean? It's a work of art to me, not a message of hate to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would be.
There should be some way that you can teach about it so people can see, you know, what happened.
This is how life was back then. You know?
And we don't want to do this again.
Whether you agree or disagree with it.
I mean,
this
there
is
are, for
what
example,
our
like
Holocaust
museums,
there are.
and you know that you can go and visit, and they're very sad. Every one I've ever been to, you know, you cry, and
you couldn't help
usually, you know, World War II memorials,
Mm-hmm.
you go and you cry, and it's sad.
Yes.
And,
I've been to the Vietnam one in
yeah.
Washington D.C. and what would you just say? The What'd she say? I just
The
forgot.
Holocaust.
Holocaust. Oh,
memorials?
yeah. There's a Black Freedom Center in
Yes,
Cincinnati
exactly.
that talks about
Right.
the Underground Railroad and the slavery issue and all of
Right.
that. I think hopefully more to educate people and to show why it was
Yes,
so
and
wrong.
that's why they're there. It's a teaching
It's a
moment.
teaching moment. Yeah, absolutely. And if that's the vessel it takes to get the message across, I can't say that I don't agree with it.
If you guys don't mind, share the show out there. We see Jim Mongold, Mayor of Sabina. We ought to have you on here sometime, Jim. You could tell us about all things Sabina and kind of what your feelings are with the way the state is treating local government and just what you think is going on in the world. Now, we did have a kind of a bit of good news, and I think that happened this week, but maybe I'm a week off. Dr. Amy Acton is no longer.
Actually, she's just moved to another position.
True.
So she is still making $188,000 a year.
Yeah, that's okay.
Under another
She's not-
title, which is still more than the governor makes.
Yeah.
I'm interested why she stepped down.
Well,
It's not just for a new position. I think she thinks a bunch of this is a bunch of malarkey.
Probably anxiety.
Yes. and as a doctor, you take a Hippocratic oath to protect everyone. And, so at the same time, ethically, if she knows this is not as bad as it is or the information is being passed out is way off base, I'd probably do the same thing. Because she's going to be that
I don't know
figure
how you
face.
sleep at night knowing that you're distributing information that is just so inaccurate that you know blatantly as a medical
as a
professional
society,
is wrong.
as a person, as a
human being.
Yes.
It's just so blatantly wrong.
Blatantly wrong.
Are we talking about
Fear-mongering.
CNN or what?
We're talking about fear-mongering.
Yeah.
Well,
Propaganda.
Propaganda is right.
speaking of fear mongering, I would say too that she, it wouldn't surprise me if she hadn't had some death threats.
I mean, how you can call yourself a scientist?
Well, no, I just read this
and-
morning that 27 health people in her position, her type of position, have either resigned or been fired
across the country
since April.
Because they won't tell the truth.
Because they were
Or because they
overhyping
wouldn't tell the truth.
I mean, I kept trying. It's like sort of the years prior or the months prior to Barack Obama running for president the first time. I kept trying to beg people to open their eyes and listen to what the man was saying, because I knew what would happen the 8 years that we had following that. But it's like this pandemic. I kept trying to tell people as a businessman, this is not going to work. We're going to kill the economy and to a point where a lot of businesses wouldn't come back. And we've seen that. So anyway, but it's there's a bigger plan. Now, did your cell service go out yesterday?
No.
Ours didn't either. But apparently in
I've
big
been
cities
seeing
across
all
the country.
over social media that a lot of, especially in metropolitan areas, that cell service went out for a few hours all over the country in metropolitan areas, just for like 2 or 3 hours. It went down.
Different carriers.
For different carriers.
Another
all
test.
over the country.
Different towers. That's
Another
right.
test.
Yeah, you shut. Well, I mean, if you.
It's like the government grounded us for a couple hours. They were like, hey, we're going to take your cell phone
This
service
is going
away.
crazy for me, but if I think about it this way, this 6 feet apart social distancing stuff. To
You
me,
guys can't behave, so we're going to take
and
your cell
here,
phones away
how
for a
does-
couple
see
hours.
how far apart these people are? How could you just pick them off a target?
Like you could
6
still
feet
use
apart's
the internet,
really
and
wide
apps
open.
still worked, but you couldn't
see?
call anybody.
That sounds like a conspiracy theory, Kim.
Wonder where. When
Todd Blocker says straight out of the communist playbook. Isn't that correct?
he is correct.
Is that right, Kim?
That is. Only
Okay.
because I've studied the Communist Manifesto.
I don't
I've read
doubt that.
Hitler's
Imagine that.
I have.
I don't
Yes.
doubt that.
I've also studied Hitler's Mein Kampf.
Purely educational, right?
Purely, oh yeah, I read him in
Yeah.
college. I've read Hitler's Mein Kampf, and I actually, funny enough, Animal Farm, which is an allegory. That
I was
An
gonna say, I don't think
allergy
it's
is
an
what you have
I
in the
don't think
summer.
it's an allergy.
not an allergy. I thought
I
it was
think
an
I have an
as
allergy to
in
Kim.
Allegoric, but
Let me use some Zyrtec.
it's an allegory.
Allegory.
Yes, where
Okay.
animals take the place of the human, like Trotsky and Lenin and Stalin, and then the pigs take over. You see, and that's no pun intended at anybody else, but the pigs are supposed to be the smart ones, and they come up and bully and run it all.
Pigs are smart.
They're very intelligent
Very
animals.
dangerous, too.
Also true.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a farm animal.
If you ever want to get rid of anyone, just feed them to the pigs.
8 minutes.
It's like when people said they want to come out to the rural areas. Go ahead.
We're waiting.
Smell that?
Go ahead.
That's called money.
We're waiting. We're waiting. Well, like you said, Charlie,
won't have to
we
feed
were
the
having
animals.
some problems in Bethel, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Over the last couple
that,
days.
That was my number one topic is Bethel here today. And, could historians look back on this? Could Bethel be the point
The flashpoint?
of the Second Civil War?
I don't know.
Bethel who? Bethel, Ohio?
Haven't
Yes.
you been following that?
I have not.
Oh, yeah.
Bethel, Ohio, they've had like
Well,
two or
they,
three
they
nights
had a
in row.
protest a couple nights ago.
And they had it last night, too.
Yeah, the protest, and they didn't really clarify whether the original protesters were local protesters or whether they were brought in from, like they said, Dayton. But there were supposedly, at least I know yesterday, a busload of people that were supposed to be coming in from Dayton, which I guess they did. But the night before last, what happened, they thought they had enough police and sheriff to cover the event. And then some motorcycle people arrived, and
Lots of motorcycle
then
people arrived.
yeah, they were only expecting about 80 people. They ended up with about 800 people facing off against each other, and
Fights.
so there were
occurring?
fights,
That erupted into
and
fist fights
and
and
unfortunately there were some sheriff deputies that had an emergency and were called away from the protest before it all broke loose. So they didn't have quite enough, I think, law enforcement.
Well, and last night it was funny because you're watching. It was really funny watching the guy that was doing the news last night out of Cincinnati on Channel 19, because he started off literally like from us to the TV away from the protesters, and you could hear all the nice verbiage in the background of, "We apologize, folks. This is live TV, so you don't know what you're going to hear, and you're hearing everything in the book." Well, then the next time you see him, he's about 10 feet back from that when they go to him on the live remote.
Was he wearing a mask?
No.
Okay.
And then the next time, this is what's funny. There's been a lot more people show up, and let's get a little more rowdy. So we're across the street now, giving you the information. But there's all kinds of videos out there on, and it was kind of funny because the sides were talking to each other, but I don't think either side was getting anywhere.
Well, they probably were talking. They just weren't listening.
One side was chanting "Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter," and the other, the redneck side across the street, USA, USA. The thing that scared me, though, about it, if I was down there, man, there's all kinds of people carrying. Open carry.
You can in Ohio.
I know.
Yeah.
Open carry. And that's what it's going to take is one of those crazy guys say, I've just had enough of this. I've lived a long life. Let's make a name for myself. And it's on.
You're not wrong.
It's on at that point. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And
Well, and unfortunately, you don't even know that in the event that something would happen, whether something would be pre-planned to actually incite the event, and it's not actually, for instance, what's to say that there isn't someone from the protesting crowd that decides they're going to fire the first shot and make it look like
could happen.
And
either
it
way.
seems like where all of the quote-unquote violence comes from in all of these different instances across the country, they're all people that come from other places.
Yeah, they're
the
not
people
from the area.
that are from
Right.
the areas. They're
Yeah.
like these outsiders that come from,
Brought in.
whatever, like
Yeah.
organizations that are like flown in, bussed in, whatever. They're not the locals from
What
these
What
areas.
do they used to call them people that
insiders.
broke a strike? They bring in the
You know-
scabs.
you
They
know
bring
what
in
I
the
mean? Like,
scabs
they
to,
are-
to work.
They're not the locals
Well-
that are
Right.
like, we're going to
Kind of the same
and
thing.
With the Black
tirade
Lives
against my own area.
with the
like-
protests that have been going on, they said there were three different, I guess you could say, levels of protesters. There's the people that are showing up there. They're more than likely local. They're trying to support, the
They
situation.
might actually want to like peacefully protest.
So they're
Yeah.
there and they're protesting. Then there are, and I watched, and you could see it. There are the insiders. Usually
Like the
these are women,
instigators.
and usually they're black women. They're getting right up in the face of black police officers, and they're pointing their
They
finger,
like,
and
rah, rah,
and
rah
you see
up in
that
your
each
face.
protest, you'll see these people. They're always wearing black. They're wearing backpacks.
Yes.
They've got a lot more elaborate gear for.
They have these
in
heavy
case.
gas
Are you talking about
masks
Antifa?
on. Like,
Yes.
These are
Oh,
these
okay,
Antifa
okay.
people
And
usually.
then you've got the people, the people that are actually there to control how things
they have these
occur.
like fancy
the ones
mountain climbing
that throw
backpacks
the
on.
rocks or they're tossing the bricks. They're the ones that are
Like
getting.
they're probably
in
getting paid money to like do
I'm
this
certain of
stuff.
it.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
I think
And
even
they're
the
getting sailed out
protesters.
by Soros
to
and the celebrities.
to a
and
certain
stuff.
extent, the protesters are probably being paid because we've seen ads for that.
Josh Faulkner says on Facebook, sad part about all this is if we all stood together as Americans, all of our lives would matter to everyone. This is media driven to separate us from joining together to go against the people actually causing this. And I'd say there's definitely some truth in that
Well,
statement.
I don't think that. I think that there's no question that that's a true statement. I think that the problem is, are we ever going to be able to realize this? That the people that are being played, that are falling for this, are they going to realize that soon enough before, like you're saying, something happens and it's all out war?
Well, keep your eyes on Bethel, folks, because I tell you what, I mean, that's kind of where this stuff kind of gets, it goes from like a place you'd never think, and that would be a place you'd never think that would get it started. And I almost guarantee they'll probably be back there tonight because the last 2 nights they've been doing it, and they're getting a lot of TV attention. One thing I haven't noticed, though, I haven't noticed it on national news yet. I've just noticed it on the local news.
Well, national news may pick it up because they'll want to point out the fact that this isn't just happening in the big cities. You take this little town of Bethel, Ohio, 2,700 people, and look what's happening. Of course, the problem is that, if there's 2,700 people in Bethel, how do you get these crowds of 800 people? Is everybody leaving their homes and coming out into the streets?
Well, there's a lot of nosy nanas going out there.
Well,
Heck,
and
I
they're
almost
bringing
thought
them
about
in by
driving down to
busloads.
Bethel last night. Just
Yeah.
check it out. That's a drive
Well,
for
that-
me.
Then the other thing is we're going to start seeing these spikes in COVID by the
Because-
national news because of all these people gathering.
I mean,
in
they've already
Bethel.
done
Protesting.
that.
We're going to see that.
Do you know that the
very
the
shortly
Trump
after
The second wave will
the
become
second
the,
wave's
the
gonna come
Trump
through
rally
Bethel very
in
quickly.
Tulsa has already had almost 1 million requests for tickets.
Trump
1
rally in
million.
Tulsa.
And so I think they're probably going to have a second, they're going to have 2 rallies in Tulsa.
Kim's like eyes twitching. Just
Well,
thinking
it's
about it.
called the silent majority. It's the people that are out there that are going to vote for Trump again, and they're
That
not.
don't get polled.
They're not making. That's
never
right.
get
And- Well,
polled.
even if
This
they do,
isn't
they
Gallup.
won't say anything. They're quiet. They know what they're going to do. They've made their mind up. 4 years ago. They're gonna do it again 4 years. For 4 more
I
years.
can't say honestly that I agree with that just because I lived in Oklahoma for just a short while, and it's very rural. It's a very red state, if you ask me. However, they have medical marijuana. They have all these different things in Oklahoma, which makes it more liberal, perhaps is the word without, So I'm thinking, why and all this happening, Oklahoma is so wide, so sparse. I think they can actually be able to get more voters, and they'll be able to change. I think they will change the way they think.
I don't
To
think
blue?
most of the people RSVPing are probably
Oklahoma?
even residents of
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. I think it's because it's the first rally back, and people are going to come from everywhere to go.
That's probably true, but I think that a lot of people are going to,
That's what
once
I
he gets
think.
back into gear. Of course, that the real question is he's going to have a problem in states where there's either like a governor that we've got here in this state who's a rhino. They're going to give excuses as to why these rallies can't take place. They have no problem with protests and people, elbow to elbow in crowds, but
Throwing bricks.
yeah, but
Don't you think DeWine's a little more on the left side?
oh no question.
he's a
But so
rhino.
was
I mean-
Kasich. I mean, really.
Well, yeah.
Kasich was worse than DeWine.
It's a lot like even county business and small city business. There are a lot of Democrats that run as Republicans because they know if
They
they,
can't
don't
get on
run
a
as a
ticket,
Republican, they can't get elected. So they claim to be Republican. They try to espouse some Republican values, but when they get in office, they change to their true colors. Now, DeWine wasn't going to run for office again anyway.
I don't think so,
No, he wasn't anyway. He had only planned 1 term.
Even before all this corona crap.
Even before that. So he doesn't have
He's got
anything
some
to
age
lose.
on him.
He
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. So I think Houston was lining up to be.
That's
but
the LT right now. We'll take
He
Houston,
has
Mike
no
Houston.
chance now.
Now he's kind of got shot in the foot with
this
all of this.
Renacy. I think he's
kind
probably
of got shot in
gonna-
the foot with all of this going
Well,
on.
I mean, he's part of
Now
the
he's
cabal,
kinda- Yeah.
with Amy Acton. So.
Crystal Hargraves watching. Hey, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
So-
Hi, James
Good
Palmer.
luck with your
She
wisdom
hasn't.
teeth.
She hasn't had any wisdom teeth removed yet. So
She's-
does this mean that she's going to drop IQ and all that after
Yeah,
these are
she will
removed?
lose some IQ today. She's
All right.
David, Bud Hiles always hanging in there.
Well, David likes to get
I tried
the
to get him to
juices
come.
flowing.
Yes, he does.
In listening to
I
our.
have an open invitation to Mr. Howes last night, and I worked on him all night because nope, can't do it.
Crystal's getting her wisdom teeth pulled at 8 o'clock this morning. And you know, here's another silly thing. I forgot about. I told her I can go, and because you guys could handle this easily without me. And she said, "No, my boyfriend wants to take me because he wants to laugh at me when I come home because she'll be under."
He'll probably video her.
So
Well, he probably will. Hopefully, he will video. Tell Levi to video you on the way home.
So
but
what do they give her? Like truth serum?
I don't know.
He'll ask her all those questions.
Yeah, but he. Here's what's bad about it. I mean, they got what they needed from me. They got my credit card, so you know that's what they needed from Dad. But anyhow, on the you can't even go in over there. You can't even go in.
No, I think there's still
you
some
still gotta
residual
set-
from the
gotta set in the car.
coronavirus. Well, I mean, even in the hospitals right now, there are people that are,
She's calling
Crystal,
you.
you're calling me, and Crystal, I
We
can't
are
answer
on
the
Facebook
phone.
Live.
Call my
We're
number,
using
Crystal.
a Facebook
If,
Live.
if you call Rick,
Yeah,
or
call me on
me,
my phone, Crystal.
then,
And my
we can
wife's-
answer the phone.
My wife's texting me. My daughter is calling me on the phone right now.
So
And it's
Popular.
like,
call anyone else on the program, and
We're
we
back.
will answer the phone.
Yeah,
call Rick's phone, or you could maybe Facebook message me. There you go.
right. Okay.
Both of them at the same time. What the hell? You know, what the hell? It's a,
You very rarely say hell.
and
Trying-
she's calling
Trying
again.
again.
Did
Maybe
she
she's
already take the
she's
meds?
already under the laughing gas or whatever
I
they
can
give her.
decline it from here, though.
Do you want to
How do
send
you
her
do that?
Rick's number?
Facebook message me there, Crystal. Or that, or watch. Her boyfriend's not going to come pick her up, and I'm going to have to leave and go get her.
Mm.
I wonder if that's what it is.
Always a family emergency.
You mean ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's gonna be an ex-boyfriend
Yeah,
in
he's
a
gonna be
minute.
riding on top. He's gonna be surfing on top of roof trucks.
Here we
She's
go
calling
again.
again.
Oh, my God.
What is
Something
going
must
on?
be
You
wrong.
might just answer this phone call in the Facebook
yeah, I
Live.
guess
You want
I'm
to just
gonna
call
have to.
Do you
on
want
my
to call
phone?
her from?
Let me see. Message. Here we go. Can't talk right now. There we go. I'll try. You guys go ahead. Let me give you another topic here. Let's hear about Trump's birthday party. Let's hear about the Trump birthday party.
Well, I think he turned 75 Sunday.
That is correct.
Yeah. So
I thought he was 74.
it was also, I think he turned 75. I think it was, and of course, it was also Flag Day. But in New Vienna, they actually held a birthday party.
Seriously?
Yeah. There was a birthday party. In fact, they did it in several places across the country. I know in Florida, they had a regatta. There were thousands of boats up and down the canals and that celebrating his birthday. In New Vienna, we had Trump cake, and we had a big cutout of Donald Trump, and people were sending him birthday wishes. We were recording it all, and we're going to be preparing the video and editing it. Sydney will be. And we'll be sending it to the president so that he, in his leisure, can listen to all the birthday greetings from the people that came down to his birthday party in New Vienna.
I saw the picture of you and your wife under the cutout.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So
That was from the
anywhere-
birthday party, Kim.
Anytime you come across a life-size cutout of anyone,
And he is taller
I
than
feel
us.
like you have to take a selfie
I
with
do.
it.
Okay, now here's how screwed up our society is here. Okay, I've sent her the credit card to use,
Right.
and they won't you take the credit card
Why?
because it's in my name.
Well,
Well,
what
can't you call
child
them?
has
Well,
a
that's-
credit
I'm
card?
getting-
I mean,
I'm getting
I
ready to-
wouldn't give a credit card to my child. I'm just saying.
You don't have a child, Sydney.
I will
Well,
call you right now, Crystal. You guys keep talking about Trump's birthday. Did you say they also made it Happy Obama Day?
wait, did you just say I don't have a child?
You don't have a child.
I
You can't
don't.
count the dog.
I have a dog child, and her name is Paisley. No, she does not have a credit card, but I do take care of her.
Well, I think they'll probably trust that Charlie is, calling and that his. Yeah, so maybe Charlie will get this. We want Crystal to get her wisdom teeth extracted today. But
I have 4 stepchildren.
of course, they wouldn't let him in. So how would that work? If they wouldn't let him in, how would they take his credit card if he wasn't allowed in?
I mean, they want his money, right?
Do you guys, I haven't been out shopping much, but like Walmart, Lowe's, Family Dollar, all of that.
Talk into the microphone.
They've got these plastic pieces, 3x3 plastic
The
pieces. just
plexiglass. Can you imagine the money that's been
I
spent?
can, because plexi is very expensive.
And the stickers they print for the
and
floors.
6 feet and shop this way
Yeah.
and shop that way, which I don't see hardly
But the
anybody
craziness
do.
is like, what's with the plexiglass? When I
What is
touch
that gonna do?
everything that's going to go home
That's
with
right.
me.
You're touching your money. They're touching this. We're handing it under.
No, they're not going to accept money shortly. It'll all be cashless. That's what they're working for. They want to do away with money, so
It's suspicious.
It is suspicious. That makes sense.
it's not suspicious. It's a
It is
plan.
It is suspicious.
Don't
is-
tell me
it's
it's
been
not
a plan.
suspicious.
It's been a plan.
Suspicious.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell you. When you two were little girls, this is coming, and that's exactly what it is. It's a plan.
What's your take on that Bitcoin stuff?
Well, I think
Well, I think Bitcoin's already going down.
it's very
It's
unstable.
unreliable.
It's like imaginary money, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
but so
and-
will digital money. Okay,
it-
understand this. Okay, if the government gets us to the point where we're not using or being able to possess paper money, okay, they'll probably also make it illegal, as they did before, to possess gold or silver or anything of value in that sense. It'll all be digital. So consider, you have, I don't know, your retirement and everything else about your life is going to be digitally in the banks. And the government says, we're running kind of short on money. We need an extra 10% of what everyone
can
has
just
in their
take
bank.
everyone's
They
money.
can take it out.
Whatever
Or
they
let's
want.
just say that they say, people aren't spending as much money as we want them to spend. So what we're going to do is, instead of you having the money in the bank and getting, let's say, 1% or 5% interest or whatever on your money, we're going to start charging you to have your money in the bank. So you're going to pay us 1% a month. That'll make people want to spend their money. See, they think they are going to control you that way. And then if people are spending too much money and they're not saving enough, once again, they'll go back to paying you interest. So once again, going to a digital currency is going to allow them to control that kind of thing.
See, but he also thinks that the government's going to have these like happiness ratings, and that they're going to get
The
these
social-
like
the social
approval
rankings like they're doing in
social
China.
rankings. Like if
Yeah.
you behave the way the government wants you to, they'll give you more money.
Or
if
they-
you do
they won't
things
take
that the
money
government
from you.
doesn't approve of, they'll take some of
That's
your money
tyranny.
away.
Well, but that's what we're headed for. And the problem is there's enough
This is how
there's
communism
enough people
works.
out there that either don't understand what's happening, or I don't know. Some of these people, I think they're the chosen people. Let's say the Hollywood elites, obviously the politics people. I think they figure it's not going to affect me. My life is going to be.
Like
I'm
I
going to
have
be.
all this money, I'm rich
I'm
and
going to be
famous.
1%. So with 1%, I will be. And if I'm an entertainer or I'm a sports star or I'm something like that, but they don't realize. And same thing with some of the journalists, especially the left. The mainstream media. They probably think, well, it's not going to affect me because I'm part of controlling all this. What they don't understand is once that power goes to
Once
those
the government
people,
has ultimate power, they don't need you anymore.
they can chop you off at the
do
knees.
anything.
You're
That's right.
gone.
Yeah.
You are no longer
If
in
you're not
control.
useful, they won't need you. So whether it's digging ditches or whether it's the person that gets in front of the camera and lies to
Yes.
the public, if you're
Those
not
will
useful,
be the people who make the most money.
right. And if you're a police officer or law enforcement or whatever you want to call enforcers, whatever they are, your family may live a little bit above abject poverty. You won't have to, look at scraps and dumpsters because they'll reward you
They're gonna
for
be on the
Whoever
policing.
they
take. They'll
deem
be
the
on the
most
take.
useful
Policing,
to
yeah.
them are going to be the
Yeah.
people that live
Well,
the
that's
most
not
high
very
on the hog.
democratic.
But we've already started that with the coronavirus because what did we have when they identified certain people
Essential workers.
that were essential?
That was who lived.
And then there were
got
non-essential
stuff.
workers that should stay at home and not infect everyone else. And so the essential workers, and that didn't mean when we said essential that they were, that they were people that were important. It just meant we need these people to keep the water
society
flowing.
moving.
Yeah, to be able to distribute food, to be
Yeah, the
so that
grocery stores and the home improvement
I mean, we didn't
stores.
have celebrities out then.
No.
We had the garbage man still picking up trash. We had truck drivers still
Still
delivering
doing it.
goods.
Yeah.
Things like this.
Kroger people
Nurses,
working in there. Yeah,
still working in the
nurses.
hospital.
Right. I get
Things
that.
like this.
Yeah, so-
Not, celebrities making movies and,
Yeah.
Politicians out speaking.
They
These
did
are not
put the
thing-
kibosh
yeah,
on
this
making
is not
movies for a
things
while,
that
right?
we had. Yes.
Did that happen?
Well,
I
yeah.
wondered what was going
Well,
on in
yeah,
Hollywood
there-
because I haven't really heard.
So
yeah.
these were not the things that we had going on, you know.
Yeah, but once again, what is determined to be essential and what is determined to be non-essential in the future, will dictate whether
It's
you
subjective.
starve to death with everyone else. Because the whole idea of socialism or communism is everyone is equally poor.
Suppose everyone is
Yeah.
equally
Yeah.
poor, supposed to evenly distribute the income from the 1% all the way trickle down to the 99%. It is in the hands of the haves, and the hands
Well,
the
I mean,
have-nots are empty.
A perfect scenario is Venezuela. I mean, we see
Absolutely.
one of the most wealthy countries in the world. They
Where
have
they have
more
all these
resources.
natural resources.
They
More
do,
than any
but
other
their
country.
government is
They
in
have
Yet
gold.
almost
they
everyone
have, yeah,
is dirt poor.
dirt poor.
right,
And they get rationed
So
food
much
and
corruption.
stuff.
right.
And they wait in long lines
And-
to
and
get
f-
what
yeah.
they need to eat 3 times a day.
So even with all their wealth, because people think
That wealth isn't in the hands of the common man.
no, people think this is the United States. We can never, we'll never be like that because there's so much resource and wealth. But Venezuela is a perfect situation. If any country should be, living, where everybody could be living like
The
kings,
lap of luxury.
it's Venezuela
It's
with their
Venezuela.
oil resources, with their
That is
precious
not
metals.
how it is there.
No.
Doesn't a lot of beef come out of Venezuela as well?
Well, it did, but it doesn't anymore.
Not
I mean, see,
anymore.
that's the problem. They can't even, like I said, even as far as gas, they have rolling blackouts. People, they've got all this wealth. They just aren't utilizing it.
And they don't take care of the citizens, and
The rich
so
get
there's
richer and the poor
crime
get
and
poorer.
corruption among the people because they have to fight over resources just to survive.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Toilet paper here in
Yeah.
the United States.
Yeah, well, that's
crazy.
Yeah, of course.
Isn't
It's
it-
crazy.
It's crazy. When I went to Walmart, I kid you not, I swear on the Bible, they had utility guards on
Watching it.
utility. Excuse me, security guards on either
Protecting
side,
the toilet
protecting
paper.
the toilet paper and,
And that's
the
what you
Paper
would see.
towels.
And
you
yes,
know,
and there was a big
protected
long
bottled water
line right there.
and
Yeah.
toilet paper.
Yes, we're sorry
you
you
know,
can't go down this aisle of the store. We're sorry. I mean, you
bags
got,
of potatoes.
you got
You
people
know,
standing right here. They have no position of authority telling me what I can't do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like we said.
It's absolute
you're-
bananas.
You're being conditioned all this, just like, you walk this direction down this aisle, you walk this direction down this aisle, you stand on this dot, you stand on this dot. It's all conditioning
I
for,
agree.
for
But do
other
you not
plans.
see my point where you have all these people so far apart? Number one, it'd be very hard for them to spread ideas without yelling to each other. And if something comes 6 feet apart, you know what kind of targets that makes them are easy shots to pick off. And I don't feel that that's a conspiracy theory.
Well, any way you look at it, it all is obviously opposite what we're used to and what people. I mean, human beings have to be around other human beings. You have to have contact. You have to be able to hug. It's the same thing they've done with the history, trying to erase that. All this, they're attacking. The American pastime as far as sports and things like that. They're taking away your, entertainment as far as movies and Hollywood and that kind of thing. So it's all a conditioning process for whatever their idea is, which is in most cases, I think we're all working for that one world government where,
Yeah.
and when you think about it, even at the local level. City of Dayton incorporates a new area, into the township or a county. What did they first do? They go in and they strip the resources of that new incorporated area, the best fire trucks, and they move it around. And that's not just the city of Dayton. That's anytime a city grabs up some more land. Well, that's the same thing. Can you imagine your life being guided by someone sitting in Switzerland?
No.
They're gonna tell us on this side of the world, what we need to do and how we need to do it and how we need to, when we can go out, when we can stay home. That's what it's going to come to with
And
this
there's going to
one
come
world
your
government.
third world war.
Yeah. There's obviously going to be, particularly Americans are conditioned to be fighters. So
I agree.
Yeah, and we've got more guns than a lot of countries do in their military. So the real hard part's going to be wrestling them away from. From the people out there.
If you were a person on the other side, like say the National Guard or whatever, not just what you believe in your heart is what it is, and what you think is doing is wrong. Would you be one of the sheep who
Some will,
follows in?
some will, some won't. You can't just expect. First of all, it's sort of like
Kent State comes to my mind.
it's sort of like Obama. What was the first thing that he did with the military? Well, not only did he, tear it apart, but he also forced out a lot of top, generals and admirals, and he wanted people that were thinking like him. And so that's what he got. I mean, that's why we're still wrestling with that in some of the military. And so, you know, he put the people in the place that were willing to fire on Americans. And so you can't just assume that, the police aren't going to side with, the government. They're going to side with the people. You can't assume that the military is going to side with the people, because there are going to be factions that say, I want my family to be able to eat, and so I'm going to do what they tell me to do, and that may mean killing, citizens.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And because they would be killing their own.
Well,
See, there are some
but
people
that would be like
it
the
will
second
happen.
Civil War.
that I
it'll
think
happen.
will follow orders no matter what the orders are. And then I think there are people that are going to try to do what's right. Even,
Of course, you've also got a lot of pansies that are in the military
So
now, and
there's
so
that.
they'll be the first to have their butts kicked.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter's deal.
Yeah. How's
So-
that going?
so is she paid
Is she
for
getting
or
her
not?
wisdom
She's
teeth
not
out or
getting her
not?
wisdom teeth done. She's probably going to go to another orthodontist, because this guy's a joke. It seems like every time that we try to go there to do something, they throw up roadblocks.
Now,
and
is
they
this the orthodontist that did her straightening of her teeth?
No,
and-
no. This is an actual dental surgeon.
Oh,
He's-
okay. So this is a
he's
surgeon.
located in Wilmington. He's back here, like near the post office, somewhere in that area.
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
All right.
But anyhow, no. They first of all,
Well, how were you going to go in and give him the card if you weren't allowed in?
that's what I told him. That's exactly what I told him. Oh, well, we need you to come sign for this. I said, I'm giving you full authorization. I can come sign later today. It's not a problem.
Great.
Oh, no, we can't do that. Okay. Well, I said, well, maybe we don't do you guys in, basically, because everything they've done, it's just been a runaround. I don't know if it's because of Corona or what, but I just said, do you guys want to have a business there? Because everything you do is very anti-business.
Well, I think that some businesses are obviously, a lot of it's dictated by the coronavirus. Some of them, they may carry it to the extreme, or they may not even be completely understanding, how these rules are supposed to be.
Well,
but when they don't let you into the building, yet you're sending your credit card.
Or maybe they're just not hurting for money very bad, so they just don't care.
right.
Yeah.
Well, here's
Maybe that's
the
what it
other
is.
thing. Won't you let us know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why didn't they
Why
tell
don't
you
you-
this ahead of
why
time?
don't you
Like,
let
hey,
us
I'm going to
know?
need
How
you to
about
come
giving us-
sign for this.
Right.
So,
Why don't you let us know? Because she had told him we were going to we use a care credit card and for stuff like that. And you can't do that.
So that's from your medical
you
savings.
You can't have her sign for this. That's why I told him. I said I'll give you full info. I'll come sign later.
Right.
As soon as we're done here, I'll come sign.
So they wouldn't even do that.
No, and I kind of just told Crystal. I said I think it's time to find somebody else. Because
Well, she's probably not anxious to have him pulled anyway, is she? Or she had problems with it.
well, see, here's the thing. She scheduled 3 days off: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Right.
and
For recovery and all
right,
that. Yeah.
and
Well, I'm sure they can still use her.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, it's just
if you tell her she
why
comes
does
up here,
everything-
I can dig him out.
Why does everything have to be anymore? You got to jump through hoops.
Yeah. I'd
it's
probably
just-
do it for half price.
That's the thing that's just bothering me so much more about our society today is you can't just go from A to B. You got to go from A to A plus to A3 to A4 to A5. Then you get to B. All these hoops, and I understand halfway what they're saying, but it's like I'm giving you everything you want over the phone. What makes the difference whether I sign now or in 3 hours?
Well, and what makes the difference when you're talking about the fact that we do transactions every day without them even having the card in their hand?
Right.
You
you
know,
can pay for stuff online. You
Right.
can go
if
on
you're
to
calling and paying
Amazon
a
buy
bill,
something,
normally
or
they'll
pay
take your credit
electric
card
bill
information
Oh, but she's-
whatever.
over the telephone.
Well,
Pay your rent,
and maybe they
you
just were
know.
trying to get me to use another credit card because they said, well, if you have a Visa or a MasterCard or anything like that, we can go ahead and take that. I'm like, I want to use this.
You mean over
What's
the
the
phone?
difference?
I want to use this
Like,
one.
I
Well,
wanna
you know
pay with
what?
this
I
card.
think
Well, no, wait a minute.
the Care Credit logo even has a MasterCard logo on it.
Right.
So it's like,
So is it a medical savings account card?
No.
Is that what you got?
no,
So
it's just a Care Credit. You'll see it like on dentist offices, veterinarians' offices, doctor's office. It's
well,
just
maybe they don't make as much off.
Well, and that's maybe what
Maybe
it
they
is.
have to,
But they said, oh, Care Credit won't let us do this. And I'm like, and here's the other thing I thought that was awful fishy about this. Usually, you go get the surgery, you have your part to pay, but then they go ahead and take the dental insurance for the other half.
Right.
Well, they want all mine up front.
And then you have to go to
then,
your
then the dental insurance sends us their
A
part
rebate
back.
or something.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that to me didn't sound right either.
Yeah. And usually I pay for things after I get them.
Right.
Like, I have a service, like I get my nails done, and then I pay them for it. Not
Right.
like, hey, like...
Dentists are
let
getting
me-
worse about
Let me
that,
pay
though.
you for this up front. Like, wait, what?
And then you mess them all up.
Like, yeah,
Well,
no,
dentists-
like,
dentists
let me make
make
sure I get
good
this
money.
done first, and then I'll pay you for it.
Dentists
when
are
you
getting
do a good
worse
job.
about that.
I think, in all honesty, she hasn't got the procedure done yet.
So anyway,
She's coming
Crystal
after
is not going. She's not going to have her wisdom teeth pulled today.
No.
How very wise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. I
She
like
is an
that.
adult.
I like
Wisdom,
Well,
age,
and
wisdom, grace.
this lady's starting to give me heck. Says, "Well, I don't really care what you think." Well, you ought to, because I'm getting ready to go back on the radio where we might get about 1,000 viewers here. And she just backed off. Man. No,
Like
it's
we're
like,
having
yeah, it does.
connection.
Occasionally, it flips on and off, but it's just silly, you know. You got to pay her on the phone. Yes, you can. I give her my credit card. I mean, I think that's pretty much saying, "Hey, it's okay to use this." I don't know. She needs to go someplace else.
Yeah, and everybody, you know, why would you want a stereo for your car? You want to go out and take that credit card of Dad's that you stole from his wallet or whatever, and
can't
get
use
some
it.
Yeah,
get
I
some
want
wisdom teeth
Yeah,
extracted.
like, I want my wisdom teeth taken out. I stole Dad's credit card for this.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
People
Exactly.
really not understand how absurd they are.
Like, I mean,
I just really think they don't.
I stole my dad's credit card for this.
And next, I'm going to have my appendix removed while I'm at it.
Yeah.
I think optional surgery.
I'm gonna sell my kidney on the black market. Like,
I've got the card here. I might as well. Yeah. It's like.
put it in the cooler.
So Trump's birthday party at New Vienna, it went pretty well, did it?
Oh, it was a success. There was a nice crowd there, and everybody got to get in front of the camera. After it was over, we had a little camera session where they could say, happy birthday to the president. And so there were, we had
You have a
Supreme.
Marilyn Monroe.
We had a Supreme Court justice there from the Ohio Supreme Court,
Yep.
Justice Kennedy.
Kennedy, yeah.
She was there. And we had, a couple other, I think someone maybe.
Shane from
Wilkin.
Shane Wilkin was
Yeah.
there.
Wilkin, yeah.
So there were a few other politicians kissing babies and shaking hands and that. Yeah,
Even
and
in the wake of all this corona.
right, yeah. Now, and we also had the good doctor who
Dr. Manzer was there.
Manser was there.
He was not kissing any babies.
No.
Just to
Was
be
he
clear.
keeping-
Did have
He had a face shield on and
He had a
did
face
have it.
shield and he had his mask on, so he was sort of double. But I thought it was
Making sure
interesting
nobody
because he
got
was
the
talking
COVID.
with the justice, and he ended up he pulled his mask down so that she could understand him, but he still had a shield on. So I guess he was protected. But they said the masks, they're so you'll hear from the CDC or
There's
the
conflicting evidence about
WHO
said
or
masks.
they said that even the N95 masks, what people don't realize is because they're supposed to be wearing them to protect others, which it doesn't, because the mask is designed to let whatever's under the mask out, not so why would you wear a mask to protect others? You're still protecting yourself, I guess, is what it comes
There
down
was
to.
very few people there wearing masks.
Did you guys see also, though, on Facebook, they were trying to make it like Happy Obama Day on the 14th?
I
Did you see
didn't.
that?
I
didn't
didn't see
see
that.
that.
Take away
Yeah.
Flag Day and make it Obama Day.
Yeah, they were saying Happy Obama Day.
Yeah.
It was
All I
Trump's
saw,
birthday.
was that while they were taking all these statues down, they were talking about taking a few of Obama's statues down too.
Oh, yeah, they
that'll
put a
be
new
interesting.
statue of Obama up.
With a little girl.
Yeah, and I wanted to say there's the first one you should tear down, but I didn't. I didn't say it on Facebook.
I have been off Facebook for a while. I've been sort of
Okay,
Were
he's
you
been
in jail?
on Facebook. He hasn't been posting on Facebook.
yeah.
His
I
super
mean,
conservative
I've been on
statuses.
Facebook, but I'm still keeping tabs on everybody. So
Same.
don't.
Terrorist watch list.
Yeah, but I have have decided that I was going to just take a break.
You're not stirring people up.
No, because I enjoy stirring people up.
We
and
know.
It's pretty easy. What can I say?
Especially some.
Some more
Some
than
more
others.
than others.
Well, let's see. Okay, so we had Happy Obama Day, or also known as Flag Day, also known as President Trump's birthday.
Right.
Yesterday. Let's see. We've talked about Bethel. We've talked about the riots. Okay, well, and I've got the answer to this. I'm going to go ahead and ask the question, but I'm going to answer
Is this a trick
first.
question?
No, okay,
Oh, right.
Atlanta. And you notice I even ate at Wendy's today, support Wendy's, since the one in Atlanta got burnt down.
To the ground.
Right.
This guy falls asleep in the drive-through.
Well,
He's
wait.
drunk.
Let's
Let's put
preface.
this in.
Let's
He
preface
passed
this.
out
Yeah.
in
Well,
the
let's
driver's
start. Let's first of all, he had been in prison because he had beat his kids, and so he was serving a 7-year prison.
They never say that, though.
No, a 7-year prison sentence, but he was let out because of the coronavirus.
Okay.
So he's already, out when he
So he was
shouldn't
on parole?
be. Technically, yes, he was on parole because he was let out specifically because they, I guess, were afraid.
Overcrowding?
You're in a small, tight space. It's easy.
Okay.
We saw most of the deaths result, in nursing homes and prisons, although mostly nursing homes, and that's because most of the people in
They're
nursing
old?
homes are old.
They have lower immune systems?
Yes.
That's true. So, but anyway, so he was out, being a good citizen, and apparently he was intoxicated, and he
Isn't that
passed,
a violation of parole?
Well, probably well, it doesn't matter because now they've had people that they've let out that have been rearrested 7-8 times, and they still keep letting them loose because they've got these things where they're not putting people back in unless you go to church, then they'll put you in jail. But the bottom line is he passed out, didn't fall asleep, he passed out. Because he was intoxicated.
In the drive-through of Wendy's.
In the drive-through at Wendy's. So that would be alarming. They probably called the police. We got someone that's passed out in our drive-through.
I saw the
So
video.
he passed out in a drive-through of Wendy's, and then what?
They woke him up.
They knocked on the door.
Police
Hey,
woke
buddy.
him up.
No, they repeatedly knocked on. Then they finally opened the door.
Now, I understand if you've been in prison, you probably don't have the fondest, feelings for the police.
Agreed.
So you're afraid of them, or
As
whatever.
I say, waking up with all that in my face.
Yeah,
would
whatever
scare
the
anybody.
reason, you're probably, and as he didn't have his kids with him or anything like that, so he was just. Of course, he's probably not allowed to see them. He's probably has to stay away from them. But the bottom line is he woke up and I guess he was panicked.
Yes.
Whatever, startled, and the police were wanting him to get out of the car. They wanted to question him, and he was fighting with them. He started fighting with them, and of course.
So did he get a battery on a Leo?
He stole the taser from one of the
Yeah,
He stole the
in
policeman's
the
taser.
fighting, he grabbed a taser, and so I think that.
But here's my problem with that. He wasn't running at the police. He was running away.
Except that they said that he stopped and pointed the taser
So
at
is
the
that not
police.
But still, is that
assault
a
on a
taser's
law
not a lethal weapon, so
enforcement
I don't know they
officer?
even have the right to use deadly
Well, I
force
don't
on
know
that.
because in Atlanta, weeks before, some police had used a taser on some students, and they described the taser as being a lethal weapon, a deadly weapon. So you can't have it both ways.
It depends on where you get tased at.
Well, I guess it depends
I've
on
been
who you
tased
are, what the
before.
circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, her dad
Anyway,
did all kinds of things,
Well,
make her
I mean,
tough.
Anyway, it depends on at what voltage the taser is. But if you get tased like in your chest, obviously you can go into cardiac arrest.
Sure.
But you get like tased in your leg, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Or the
Also
nads.
depends on how close a range you are.
Let's not
Like
get
you can
tased
like if
beforehand.
I tased you with a high voltage taser this close,
Yeah.
it would hurt really bad.
But I mean, that,
But
that,
if
that-
I'm standing across the
that's sort of
room
the
and I
same thing
tase
with
you, it wouldn't
police
hurt so bad.
using these wood pellets or these rubber bullets, or depending on where you get shot, and if you're shooting just into a crowd, someone could have an eye put out.
Let's also talk about if I bought a taser off Amazon in a police grade taser. Completely
Well, yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Like the little stun gun that, most women probably carry that they
But
bought
you
off
have to be
Amazon.
close enough to touch somebody.
Completely
Just about,
different
yeah.
than like a police grade or military grade taser.
Yes.
Completely different.
Completely.
Very different.
So the fact that he turned around and he pointed that they didn't supposedly know whether it was a gun or whether it was the taser that he had grabbed from the police officer. But the point is, if you stop and you point anything at a police officer, you're kind of inviting the fact that you're going to get shot. Because the police aren't going to just wait to see whether it's a taser or a toy gun.
Or a plastic gun, an air rifle.
Yeah.
No.
Could be a paintball gun.
Now, if you remember when I started this out, I said I have the answer.
Right.
I said I have the answer. And
Okay.
Here's the answer. And I don't know why people haven't thought about this before. Okay. I don't know if the guy should have got shot for what he did, but I can see it both ways. You know what I'm saying? He is running away. They're going to find him. They got his license, car. They got everything. They're going to get him. But you know what? Why don't we? And this is off the wall. This is new thinking, but I think it would work out great.
Hold on, real quick.
No, I'm
Let
right
him
there.
finish
Let me get
the
my
thought
point.
here.
Let me get my point here. Here we go. We're going to tase you first. Then if you don't go down tasing, I'm going to take out my tranquilizer gun. I'm going to tranquilize your ass right now. Because then, guess what? You're knocked out. I don't have to chase you anymore.
Yeah.
You're not dead.
Well, of course, that
answers the problem.
The question would be, if you talk a tranquilizer, would it penetrate, maybe clothing? Would it penetrate, a coat or some? So in other words,
Sure.
if you're talking,
In the
and
right spot.
the other thing is,
Don't unlock it.
in the heat of battle, do you know whether you're grabbing the taser or whether you're grabbing your weapon or whether you're grabbing your tranquilizer gun?
To know that it would be
The same
first
way that
nature.
the police don't shoot to, just maim you in the leg. They shoot to kill you.
I don't
So
disagree.
if a police is pulling his weapon, he's going to kill you.
In a
You might as well get used
situation
to it.
like that, though,
That's what they're trained to do.
Yeah.
they're unarmed. Yeah, they had the taser.
But that's what I was going to say. If instead of, if you hit someone with a tranquilizer, certain tranquilizers, if you hit someone in an artery, could permanently paralyze you and you would no longer be able to walk.
didn't kill 'em.
But what I would say is
Hey,
if you
that's
shot
vegetable.
someone in
That's
the
better than being
leg
dead.
or shot someone in the ankle or whatever, you would just fall over instead of actually don't shoot them in the head or the chest or
Right.
something. Don't kill them.
You know what?
But just trip them or shoot them in the foot.
I
Okay, you
think
can't run away anymore.
I think it goes
Okay,
back
you
to the
can't- you're
original
gonna fall
assumption
over.
that is, didn't your parents ever tell you you don't argue with a police officer? You certainly don't run from a police officer.
My
these
dad
are
always
just
told
basic
me,
things.
don't point a gun at someone unless you're going to kill
in
them.
most
But,
cases,
I
the
mean,
people that have been killed by police officers, and by the way, there have been far more white people killed by officers than black people, but the people that have been killed by police officers have been people that are obviously not obeying what they're saying.
Right.
And the first thing you remember is you obey what the police say.
But there's-
that's the way the law
And I
is.
got to step on that
There's
a minute.
bad
The first
people
rule is not
everywhere.
you obey what the police say. The first rule of the world is you have this free speech and the right to gather, the right to assemble.
You don't
do.
if the police pull you over, even if it's unjust, that's something that you take to the courts.
Right.
Yes, sir, no, sir.
You have to obey a police officer's, even if it's just a matter of, and you can say that what they did was incorrect, but and some people say,
A
well, yeah,
police
but
officer can't order you to do anything illegal.
well, no, but they can, and if you don't do it, they can still arrest you. That doesn't mean it's a legal arrest. They can
Right, that's
suffer
not gonna hold water in
consequences later.
court.
The problem that you've got is, you got to wait till you get to court. In the meantime, if you want to stay alive, you've got to do whatever the police officer tells you to do.
Right.
And you can say that's not right or it's not fair, but that's what we have internal affairs for. That's what we have the legal system for. So, if the police have done something that isn't right, and so maybe we need to adjust, and that's what they've been talking about, adjust policing and what they can and can't do, so that at least
Retrain some folks.
make them more culpable for what they're doing. So in other words,
Tranquilizer
instead
darts.
of giving them absolute immunity, but see, I think that should apply to everyone. That should apply to our legislators. They've all got, it's just like our people in Congress. Why did they sell the stock, when they knew things were going to crash, when they had insider information? Because they can't be prosecuted for insider information like you or I can.
Why do they have this fund for all the people that
That are sexually harassing people and
Yep.
pay, That's the kind of stuff that we need to make sure
I
that
don't
we
know,
do
but
away
I
with.
would like to know what comes back on Homeboy's blood test, because there's no way he was just like drunk on some natty lights, because who steals a taser from the police's when you are just drunk? Because I have been drunk plenty of times in my life as an ex-alcoholic,
Well, I mean,
and I have never once been like, I'm just going to steal a taser off of
Yeah.
Leo and like run through a Wendy's drive-through
No.
and then get baffed by a police officer.
And die. Yeah, that's just, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like I've been so turned up. I've like peed behind a bar dumpster, but like
So
I have
have I.
never, ever been like drunk on Patron and been like, I think I'm gonna steal a taser off a popo. Like,
Yeah,
no,
well, I
that's
don't- I
never
don't-
happened.
yeah.
No.
Well,
That's never
it's
happened.
like Josh Faulkner just said, most
Ever.
people who are innocent don't run from the police, which is
right.
true.
I'm just saying,
So-
never. I have gotten a ticket for jaywalking from a police officer when intoxicated because I left my high heel in the middle of the street. I was even in the crosswalk.
So you're walking like a
Yeah, I was like-
kiddo.
He was going to give me a ticket for public intoxication, but instead gave me a ticket for jaywalking.
Angie Schiller's on there this morning.
Hey,
Hey, Angie, how you doing? But anyhow, what do you think? My tranquilizer idea.
I think it's a great idea.
I think
I don't know.
I like it because, like you said, Rick, even if they do paralyze them, you're not killing them. Yeah. And why run anyhow? I mean, what you know?
I've seen some crazy police
Here-
chases that
here's-
they
here's
really
the-
don't have.
well,
maybe
there's
a
no
warrant.
question. I mean,
they
you
got
know-
no bad reason to run.
Well, even
too.
even the police chasing, when they go into excessive speeds and they start, of course, it's just like anything else. If a police is chasing you and they're involved in an accident that kills a pedestrian or another person, you're going to be charged with that crime. When the police were chasing a man down in Cincinnati over the People Bridge, and the police officer, I don't know how he ended up in the water, but he drowned. And the man that was running was charged with the police officer's death. There was an even crazier scenario where there was a car chase out in California, and a helicopter that was following the car chase for a local news station crashed. And the sheriff was going to try to charge the person that was running with the death of the people in the helicopter. See, I mean, it gets to be absurd, in some. But I think that if the police were maybe better trained, or there were things that, for instance, do you need to choke someone to put them in a hold? I don't know. If they're high on meth, they've got the
Whole
strength.
time.
yeah,
they've-
and that PCP, the strong as an ape.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
so the question is, what do we want police officers to police? Do we give them, unlimited power when no, because, there'll be more people that are dead. But where's the line? How do you define that? Because now at this point, you're talking about defunding the police, doing away with the police, putting more money into programs, for underprivileged, poor lawbreakers. Well, I'd just like to see a week without the police and some,
right.
Oh, it'll be.
Now-
Well, Seattle's getting ready to do it. Seattle, actually, that has another thing on
Minnesota.
my deal here.
So the problem
Chop.
with the tranquilizer thing that I have is someone who's been tranquilized before, because I have epilepsy. A lot of times when you have seizures, they tranquilize you with Thorazine or Haldol or Ativan,
Right.
like in your leg, to make you come out of a seizure.
Yep.
They just stick you so that you'll stop
Sure.
convulsing. And
So they work.
so, but they give you the right amount depending on your
Right.
body weight, your size, whatever. But it doesn't always work the first time. They have to do it again because sometimes they don't give you enough, or sometimes they give you a little too much, and then it works a little too well, and then you are like just passed out.
So like
and
anything
it's
else, there could be
devastating.
situations
So, yeah,
where people
I mean,
are-
how do they
You're
know how
not
much to
dead.
give you?
You're not
You gotta size
dead.
it up,
You
1,000
gotta-
pound this
I
or
mean,
Yeah.
do they have to like bring an EMT to the scene to be like, oh, well, this person's approximately 250 pounds, and
yeah,
like
load him up
they
a
might
dose
be
of
on
this.
meth,
And
so
the-
we need to give them
and I
this
guess,
much. Like,
so the question.
Hello, wait a minute. You just take the average American weight. Just say you have 200 pounds. Guess what? If that doesn't knock him out, it's most likely he's going to knock him down.
Yes.
And if it doesn't knock him down,
I mean, because they can't
okay,
give everyone
guess-
like a horse tranquilizer.
But
Guess
of
what?
course,
That's what they
Just-
do with nuisance bears.
when do
You
you
just
when do
track
you
'em.
use the tranquilizer, and when do you shoot someone with a bullet because
Well-
they've got armor piercing,
well, first of all,
AK
Well, here would be my way of
Every
doing it.
situation's gonna be different.
Well, no, wait, no, yeah, but
You still have to use
they're
your
either armed
brain.
or unarmed. If they're armed, you don't mess with the taser. You don't mess with the tranquilizer. You go to the gun.
Okay, but how do
If
you know?
If they're pointing a gun
Because
at
I guess
you,
they also
If
they
they gotta-
have
if
to
they
put
gotta
this
go-
in
if he
some
pointed
kind of bullet.
if he pointed
Now-
a taser, is that and
you
the
can
question
if
is
you can tell that's a taser, then yeah, I would go right to the tranquilizer.
So they're going to
What
put
if you can't?
that's
Well,
the
then you
problem.
got the gun.
Once again, it
The
comes
gun
back
is
to
all
a decision.
subjective.
Yeah,
It's
you have to make a
Right.
decision.
But the
and
thing
you've got to
is-
do it in a split second.
Right.
You're a
Right.
police officer, and the first thing you got to do is protect yourself.
Exactly. But the gun, here's what I'm getting at with the gun. It's always there. It's always the threat. You never take the gun away. So don't get me wrong here. What I'm just saying though, if there's an unarmed, now listen what I'm saying, unarmed circumstance, and the taser's not working, which it doesn't in some cases, you have that other line.
So you're
of
also going to
defense.
put this in some kind of bullet or whatever, though, right? Because when they use a tranquilizer, like an EMT does this, they use it in a regular needle, like you're getting
Right.
shot. You know,
Well,
Like a
'cause
dart
you-
from a tiger or something.
I am
maybe.
sure there's
Yeah.
some technology out there that would work.
Because you couldn't, if someone was potentially violent, you wouldn't want to get up close to them with a needle. They could
Right.
stick you
No,
with it
you would
instead.
still- you would still-
This ought
shoot.
to almost be something done by a quote unquote sniper.
There's
Not that
there's
you know, but
tranquilizer guns.
that's his job, right?
And that's what you have.
Sneak in and get
You
the good
just
shot.
you just add it to. I mean, if you ever look at a policeman's belt, anyhow, I mean they look
Their
like
utility
Batman.
belt is
Yeah, they look like Batman anyhow.
Utility belt.
Let's
Well,
just
and
add
and
that.
there have been instances where the police officer was going for the taser, but he pulled his gun,
Sure.
and he didn't realize, till it was too late, that he was.
One would be on one side, one would be on the other.
I don't. Well, no, because if you're left-handed or right-handed, you got to do. It would
I
seem to
see.
me you'd have to.
That makes sense.
In order to be, because if not, you're going to tase him in the eyeball or something.
Yeah.
mean,
maybe
the
that-
gun-
I'm using my right hand here.
The gun
yeah.
needs to always be available, but I'm just trying to think of a better way. That's all I'm trying to do. is
Well,
think of a better
if
way.
an individual is running away from a police officer, for instance, there was, and this was in the South as well, a black man was literally running away, and he was shot in the back by the police officer. And the police officer, he did face charges.
And there, if they had
That was pure out, uncalled for, and to me, that was. It wasn't first degree because it wasn't premeditated, but it was certainly some degree of murder.
definitely higher than manslaughter.
There you go. And if
I agree.
if he has my I can't even think what it is now, where you can just inject them, tranquilizer dart, boom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depend. I don't know.
Maybe
Once
you-
again, it depends on
maybe
the
you get
range,
rid
the
of
You
it.
could put it
accuracy.
in ninja stars.
You know what? Get rid of the
Just
taser.
like soak it
Get-
in ninja stars.
Get rid of the taser and
Get
just
rid
use
of the
tranq.
taser and go to a tranquilizer dart.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
These tasers they talk about too got the little wires. coming
Yeah,
out that
they're not
spring.
the kind that you have to touch them. They don't want,
How would you even get that back? Because there's not a release to get the clips out, is there? I think EMT has to.
Yeah, they
take
actually
them
have to
out.
remove
and I
them
don't think
from
it matters because once they've been tased, they're dropped.
Usually,
It's not like
Yeah.
you're
No,
going
but I'm
anywhere.
saying that they're usually wearing sweatshirts or jeans, and that seems to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just my point.
but
Yeah, maybe maybe you make it there we go. Have a combination tranquilizer taser.
It's like soaked
we will
in the
put you to
tranquilizer,
sleep
so one of
before
the
we
laces-
electrocute you.
Hey, that's still better than killing them.
Waterboarding to come.
Yeah.
Still better than killing
Waterboarding, that
right.
sounds good compared to all the stuff Charlie's
What is
invented.
your obsession with waterboarding? This is his favorite torture
It is,
technique.
it's-
He
yes.
talks about it a lot.
So,
I don't think it's torture.
so
I do.
It's extraction.
Ray
Of
Shard,
information.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the owners of Wendy's donated like $500,000 to the Trump campaign.
Ray Shard Brooks is the gentleman that was his name in Atlanta. So he's done. Boom.
Yeah.
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 He's done, and we're done talking about him. But here's the thing, folks. The whole moral of the story here is, number one, don't break the law. Number two,
There
if you
are
do
laws when you're
Don't
drinking
run from the
claws.
police.
if you do break the law and you get caught, suck it up.
Yeah.
right.
Don't
I
run.
mean,
Suck it up,
because
chase it.
that's the two basic laws, to be honest with you. All right, now let's go to another thing here because we've beat that to death. No pun intended. All right, let's since we're there with police officers, talking about police officers, I look in the next year for a mass exodus of police officers.
No question. It's already happening.
Because of
There was a SWAT team in Florida that the whole SWAT team resigned.
Well, because people aren't going to be behind them. But also, it's like this dude here in Atlanta that killed him, he's fired. He was doing his job.
Yeah, at this
he thought he
point-
must have been doing what he was trained to do.
Yeah,
Now
at this
he's
point.
fired, and he's probably going to go to prison for the rest of his life.
I doubt it.
don't know.
In fact, I think he'll probably end up getting his job back and back pay.
Something done in the line. Of
Here's
duty.
here's the situation, and this is where, once again, not just because I'm more conservative, but unions in most cases are too strong. The
They're
police,
backing
the
the
police union back bad police. That's the first problem.
Yeah.
Police officer in Minnesota, 17 different incidences, still was a police officer,
Yep.
was still out in the field. It was because, once again, these unions are to the point where, they can dictate and keep these officers that shouldn't be on the street. And that's the same thing with bad teachers. That's tenure for professors. We have systems. You look at the idiots in Washington, D.C. and how they're protected. And we even pay them for life these crazy salaries that they got when they weren't doing anything in Congress. So, we have got, if we're going to survive.
Talk about institutional change. Right there is where
Absolutely.
there needs to be a lot
There
of
are so many
institutional change.
institutions that we have in this country that have to be structurally, changed if we're going to survive, because that's the problem. We're seeing all this, this protection to people that shouldn't be protected. And it includes police officers. You can support police officers. You don't have to support bad police officers.
Well, and it goes back to the tale of two worlds. When you're looking out here in the country and rural areas, it's a completely different story than looking in the city, too.
Well, but you have bad police officers anywhere. You
Sure.
have bad teachers anywhere. You have,
Sure.
The real thing is like anything else. You don't want anyone to be dismissed or discharged, without just cause. They need to have their day in court. They need to, have that judgment. But at the same time, when you've got such power with some of these unions, they get away with it, and they just keep being rewarded for it. And that's the problem. And more than likely, this police officer in Atlanta will not be charged. He could be charged, but he won't be convicted.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Our nutty court system is. Then you know what? That other thing that really bothered me about that, since we're still beating this thing, why did the Atlanta police chief resign? She had nothing to do with it.
Didn't want to face the fact that stuff rolls downhill.
But I'm going to tell you, that's wrong. She can't take responsibility for.
Well, she'd just
she
been
will.
commended, weeks before with all the protesting and that, and the fact that things were handled well by the police.
I just think
and
that's wrong.
then she loses her job, a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
But that
Maybe she could
we're going to
retire.
see. There's no question, Charlie. This entire thing with the police, this cycle, I guess you'll see. We are going to see a lot of police that will quit. They'll go do something else.
Well, I think it's absolutely bananas that, we're seeing people all over the country that are like, oh, well, the police aren't properly trained. And maybe in some areas that might be true. And, they don't go to training enough. But, for example, in the Tampa area in Hillsborough County, the police have to have a 4-year, this may have changed, but when I lived there, you had to have a 4-year bachelor's degree in criminal justice and then go to the police academy after that before you could be a police officer in that county. Now, in the neighboring county, in Polk County, you just go into the police academy and then you can be a police officer, which was so odd to me that,
I agree.
20 minutes away, you could
Yeah,
just be
you
a
would
police
think that
officer.
you think
go
at
to
least
800
the state
hours
should
or
be
whatever.
something. Well, but that's what they said. They
Like-
said that in some states, and Ohio may be one of them, that the number of hours that a person has to spend, in policing, being trained, is less than a hairstylist, to be a hairstylist. So,
You would think that there would be some kind of standard, at least among the states, or at least in some kind of
Right.
a regional area.
That would
like,
make too much sense.
but how does in one area you need a 4-year degree in criminal justice, and then right next door it's just like a certificate of some kind?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
well, during the corona, didn't they take a lot of nurses and almost close to being doctors and sort of elevate
Yep.
them
And they were like, okay, well now you can be a doctor now
Are
because we need doctors.
Are we keeping you awake, Kim?
No, Yes. No, I get the yawn, and here it comes. Can't help it, can't
I'm
turn
going to
it
make some coffee. You want some coffee?
I've got
You got coffee? Okay. Charlie, you want some coffee?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
This
Sure.
week, we'll let Charlie have some of our coffee. Do you need anything?
Star Spangled Banner. Let's talk about that. Okay, the NFL says it's okay for you guys to kneel during the Star Spangled Banner.
Goodness.
Baker Mayfield,
the
the
national
heart
anthem,
of the
yeah.
Cleveland Browns, says, "I, by God, I will kneel for the Star
And
Spangled
they-
Banner."
I think they also
NASCAR
said
too.
they
That's why
might
I'm wearing
put
my
the
NASCAR shirt.
Black Lives Matter flag underneath the American flag. I heard
Really?
at the NFL games.
I can't get behind all this. The Black Lives Matter, this, that. Everybody's life matters. Every single person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why? I just can't get behind the
To me, I don't care what color you are, what sex you are, what religion you want to practice. I mean, the Supreme Court just ruled, I believe it was in the last few days, that the
Yesterday.
transgenders and the
Yesterday.
gays matter. So
Yes.
if they all matter
They
too,
now have equal rights under the protection of
so
the law.
if they matter too, why is it only the Black Lives
That's
matter?
right. Everybody's life matters.
So
And
why?
you know what? I have no
that's-
problem with that. I think that's the way it should have been
Everybody.
anyhow. Everybody
so
should,
if we
it
all
should be
matter,
based on that.
why are we only promoting the Black Lives Matter?
We all-
Because because they have this mentality that they're owed something because of slavery for so many years, even though none of us today had anything to do with it. You know, we had relatives in the past that have. But I will also say this: I don't know if you've seen this, but some prominent Black Americans have stood up and said, "Quit asking for all the free handouts." I don't know if you've noticed that or not. You know, and you know, unfortunately, Bill Cosby met his, he's in jail.
He's getting a lot of freebies.
He made you know what
Some
though,
pudding pops.
when he talked on this subject, he made a lot of sense. You know about how the black people just need to stand up
Was
for
he
themselves.
saying this from
and
his
not-
cell or what?
Don't you remember he used to come out before all this happened? You know when he was respected. You know he tried.
were back in the Jello days?
He tried to uplift the black community. You know, and it's too bad what he did because he got caught and all that, and he shouldn't. You know, he was actually a pretty good standard bearer for what everybody's wanting. Everybody's just wanting to be treated the same. And I say this all the time: there are bad black people, there are bad white people, there are bad green people, there are bad blue people. Bad
Are those
red
aliens?
people.
Green
Yeah.
people?
You don't take one bad apple to spoil the
But
world.
here's the
A green
thing.
apple. Is there a green apple or a red
Everybody,
apple?
Whether you're black, yellow, green, orange, white, blue, purple, you all know that. So stop. You know, everybody knows there's bad people for all.
In every
I get
race.
along. I try to get along with everybody, but like I'm sure me wearing a shirt today may have offended some people
Why?
because it's NASCAR
What's
and
that to do with anything?
well, you know, they're from the South and they like that Confederate
Oh,
flag.
good.
No,
That
they've
they
done
just
away with
banned.
the
Done
flag,
away
yeah.
with.
That they just banned.
I
And,
happen to like the Confederate flag. It doesn't stand for what is it? The red is for the blood
Oh,
that died. The
Kim,
red is for
Kim
the
needs some coffee now.
Kim gonna need some fresh coffee.
Kim needs some coffee now. Watch out. Stuff's flying.
Around here, you know.
Paper
around
towels
these
are over
parts.
I'll get that.
But anyhow, no NASCAR. And one driver's already said at the end of the season he's done.
Well, I think there's
Yeah,
going
and
to be
then
more than
NASCAR
one.
tweeted back that they didn't even know who he was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. He wasn't like,
Well,
big name. But
still.
I think that we're going to see, once again, with a lot of other stuff, sports, as we knew sports, in a lot of ways will be dead. I have no interest in the NFL. I have no interest in the NBA. MLB, they're not doing much better. You got millionaires arguing with billionaires about playing 50 games this year.
Yep.
Who cares? Charlie, remember the first time I ever went to the
I
the
took
new
you.
Red Stadium, which is old,
We had a free ticket. Yep.
and I went with you because that's the first time and the last time that I ever was to their stadium. So I mean,
I think that's
it's
the last time I was
I,
there, too.
I could care less, and we do sports, but these, especially professional athletes, it's like Hollywood elites. I could care less. Have we missed you? I don't think so. Have we missed the movies? I don't know.
I mean, I'd rather watch college sports,
Can I
honestly.
say something about that?
Yeah.
I missed the movie theater popcorn.
We missed your popcorn.
I missed the popcorn.
Can't you buy that and cook it at home?
It's not the same.
It's
It
not-
doesn't
it's
have
not-
nearly
it's
enough
not the
butter
same.
or
Well, you have to-
salt
you have to-
on
you have
it. Give
to-
us that MSG.
Yeah, you have
It's
to
not.
dump that
Yeah,
all
it's
that.
not. I need
Give
some
us
movie theater
cardiac
popcorn.
arrest.
Which some of those have opened, some of them haven't. I think it's wonderful that Kings Island's going to open again. So that way, when you're on there.
However, they're requiring like a 24-hour before
my
health
gosh.
screening. You have to wear a
Why
mask
would you go
all
through
day,
that? Why
like-
would you go through all that and then wear a mask in the summertime, anywhere? It's absolutely ludicrous. You might as well not even open for, I mean, you're going to have some idiots. They're going to be out there. And there's probably going to be all kinds of medical emergencies because people are going to be feigning left and right.
Well, and I don't.
I've got to make sure it's brewed here.
He's brewing it. I'll tell you something else, too, though. Think of all the people that upchuck on rides.
For real. And then you're going to have that in your mask.
You have that. Well, no. If I'm here to do that, that mask coming off, and sorry down below, whoever's underneath me. But well, think about it. I mean, am I right or not? Oh, I get
You
Kava
gave
House.
him your mug?
Oh my gosh!
Oh, look at you.
I feel important. Feel impotent.
You got his mug.
I know. I see that. Kava House, Wilmington. There you go. There you go.
You got your plug.
There you go. Well, I try to help anybody
Well, I
out.
mean,
I try to
they
help
got their
anybody
plug.
out except for certain medical dental people in Wilmington. What a joke! I tell you what, the more
That's so ridiculous.
that
though.
lady, when I started talking to her in fact, I said, "Look, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm mad.
No,
because
that's ridiculous.
everything we've done through you guys, it's not right. I mean, she's had to reschedule 2 appointments over there because they didn't have the proper paperwork or whatever." And
I was seeing a dentist in Wilmington, and I will admit I was having a lot of cavities filled because I have Crohn's, and my teeth naturally, they decay really fast because I have vitamin deficiencies. Because I lose so much blood, I get IV iron and stuff weekly. And he just started numbing my mouth in 3 different places of my mouth every time I went in there. Even though I only got one area worked on at a time, he just would forget where he had already numbed my mouth.
who was it?
Dr. Chopra.
I
So
don't
I'd
know.
get 3 areas numbed every time.
I'm going to tell you the best dentist in Wilmington.
That was necessary.
The best dentist in Wilmington,
Obviously.
in my opinion, is Chestnut. He's getting ready to retire, though, but I had to leave him just because they didn't take my insurance anymore.
Well, before that,
well, that
I
happens.
saw Dr. Ira Glass, who was really good, but he doesn't take my insurance, so that's why I started seeing Dr.
He was
Chopra.
down in
He was in Morrow.
Morrow, yeah.
He was a little Jewish man.
You realize you have dentist, and then the Antichrist is right below. I mean, that's the way they are in my book, anyhow.
They enjoy the torture.
Dentist,
It's almost
I
like
tell you what,
waterboarding.
my dentist, when I was a little kid, he didn't believe in Novocaine. So I had all these cavities filled when I was a little kid, no Novocaine. Dr. James Ferris, I think he's passed away, so I'm not hurting him right now. But my God, that man put me through hell. And I can remember now still him saying, "Hold on, son, there's a nerve there." I'm like 8, 9 years old, so
Yeah,
I didn't go to the dentist for 7 or 8 years.
This guy was too much Novocaine. I mean, I swear I was getting the runs, just sitting there. Too much Novocaine.
Well, I had my wisdom teeth pulled. It was awful. This guy'd pull one, go work on somebody else. Pull
I'm
one, go
getting
work on
it,
somebody
thinking
else.
about it.
7:30 in the
Just
morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm in the chair. 7:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm in the chair. I get up out of the chair. What do I got to do? I got to go to the bathroom. They've been pumping me full of fluids all day. I go to the bathroom. See, my face is about twice the size it normally is. Blood coming outside. I pass out through the door. I wake up. They got oxygen on me. They said, "Well, if he does that again, just take him to the emergency room." I'm like, "All right, great." So I seriously put dentists and orthodontists, those people, just one step above the Antichrist.
I'm with you.
So we digress. Sorry about that. What about CHOP? What do you think about CHOP? You guys know what CHOP is?
I was going to say, what's CHOP?
The Capitol Hill Organized Protest. That's in Seattle, where they've taken over so many city blocks. And they're keeping
Where the
everybody
Hells
out.
Angels are showing up?
They took 6 city blocks and they have turned it in and can just said this is where we're gonna live.
Right.
Now these people are either going to be charged with sedition, treason. They're doing something because they're literally trying to have anarchy to secede from whatever.
So
but it's a
the
6 block.
people of
CHOP.
this area have strongly, as far as I know, always been against identification, border walls, and the like are now requiring identification to get into their area, have put up a border wall.
Now, and
putting
all
All
of
the
Funny.
things they're against.
Yes. Oh, this could be really useful for us.
And they've been passing out AR-15s.
They,
So
they were
they're-
against
they're
gun
armed.
rights. They now are armed.
excuse my ignorance here, but there's no, and I hate this. I should know this. There's another place somewhere in our country called Chaz.
No, I think Chaz was actually that
Chop.
that area that we're talking about.
So Chaz
Some-
is Chop.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Although they were attempting in several other locations like Austin and Nashville, they were attempting to do similar type of situations, but you're not going to do that in a red state because the red state
That's
governor's
not gonna work.
not going to allow it.
I see the National Guard coming in on this one.
Well, Trump said that this
I don't
morning.
know.
What he was going to enact?
He-
It was an act he could have. It's subversion.
Well,
Subversive act.
it allows the president to actually send the military in. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think Trump will do it. I think that he's threatening it to get the. But I think that what we're seeing is, from what I understand, our motorcycle riders are supposed to go there on July the 4th and liberate that 6-block
Really?
area. So
I'm telling you.
No, but this
Yeah.
is like the Hells Angels and what was
but
the
that's
other
why
group?
that's why they're passing out
so,
weapons.
and these people are
Yeah.
not to be taken lightly.
Correct.
So-
That's
These
what they
are
call
like
the
the
1%.
real
So
sons
it
of
may- it-
anarchy kind of motorcycle
It may not be
gangs,
Bethel.
not
It
Well,
may be.
this is right.
It
Well,
may be.
Bethel may be the spurt of it. You know,
These
the
people
start.
don't play
I
around.
don't know if y'all remember back. I don't remember, but I remember reading it in my 60s class. I'm at Altamont. The Rolling Stones had a concert at Altamont, and they hired the. And they hired the Hells Angels to be security
Yeah.
for that
Yeah,
event.
yeah,
and
these
a
people
black man got
aren't
stabbed and died,
playing
and
with you.
it turned. So I don't know if these are the people you really want to have as peacekeepers in this situation, but
Are you
Well,
talking
no,
about
they're
the
not
Hells
going
Angels?
to
Yeah,
hold
out there
peace.
in
They're
the-
going
in-
to get rid of the
they
problem.
are going to exterminate the problem. I don't mean they're going to kill them, but I mean I assure you,
They're
it'll
going to
come
get
down.
rid of the problem.
Just about like the tent cities after the Confederate War was over, when they had Reconstruction going on. They had living in the camps, and they just burn them out to get them
a
out.
lot of people are comparing this, I believe, to the Occupy movement.
Yeah.
Oh, the
that
Occupy
was
Democrat-
going
yes.
on.
Chop.
But that was basically
I believe that was a little more peaceful.
it was a peaceful type of situation. But
However, this will.
they
be
got tired of the
cleared up.
rain. You know, the rain was it was cold, it was rainy. So I mean, they eventually, and it's sort of like the protests. We are still seeing protests in various parts of the country, and they'll crop up here and crop up there. But for the most part, if you've noticed, we're not having the wholesale protests across the country now. It's sort of winding down, and so I think that unless maybe there's another shooting like the one in Atlanta, in maybe they'll burn a McDonald's or whatever, Arby's, and they'll be done with it. And I don't think that they're still having some repercussions. I think even in Atlanta, from the latest person, to be killed by the police.
Sure.
I think that why we've seen this last so long in Seattle in this particular area is that they have liberal/democratic leadership there. The government is aiding them in getting food in, bathrooms, all of that kind of like resources in that they need to keep this camp, quote unquote, alive. For example, like Rick was saying, in a red state, the government would not allow
No,
them
they
to
cut the
keep-
electric.
kind of- they would
they'd
cut
cut
off
the electric.
utilities and
Yeah,
stuff.
they
wouldn't allow them.
Wouldn't
to
even have
keep
to be
the camp
violent. I mean,
open.
if you cut off food and you cut off water and you
They
cut
couldn't
off
get any
electricity,
resources in,
if they couldn't have
they'd
their
be
cell
screwed.
phone service, and see, that's the other thing.
That's Todd Walker just said the same thing.
We're
yeah.
talking about the cell phone service. You can block cell phone service to that 6-block area so that they can't communicate. And in fact,
be
if I was going in, that's what I would make sure I did. If
Oh,
if I was law enforcement,
Cut it all.
you'd cut off
Electric,
everything. Yeah,
water,
they'd have no
yeah.
cell phone. They couldn't communicate.
everything.
Yeah, they'd be shooting themselves.
Yep. Chop. Keep your eye on it, folks. It's coming.
Chop.
Yeah, and the mayor there, her name is Jenny Durkin, and Trump put on a big tweet.
It's a love fest they're having, she
Yeah,
said.
it's a love fest, exactly. And if the governor doesn't take care of it, Trump said, and the mayor, Trump said, yeah, the mayor is completely lost. She thinks
Pack
they're
up your flower
they're
crown.
having a love fest in Seattle.
Right.
He said, if they don't take care of it, we will have to if we need to.
Yeah.
How Chaz became CHOP. There we go. Seattle's police free zone explained.
And at this point, they're not hurting anyone as long as they're. Although they do say that there are women being raped. They said that,
and that there was a woman who was
they're
raped
extorting.
and murdered.
They're extorting
in that
money
area.
from people that were in the zone. They're breaking into businesses. They're either saying you offer it to us or we're going to take it. So I don't know. You don't know what's. If you talk to the mayor, she went in there and toured the place, and she said it was just a love fest. So, it's very difficult to determine. But the bottom line is, and I don't think that the president needs to get involved. I think that it'll take care of itself one way or another if the Hells Angels decide they're going to go in.
But if I'm president and I know that that's getting ready to occur, I don't know that I let that happen.
No, I think that what's going to happen is before the president has to do anything, if they know on July 4th there's going to be Hells Angels and other people coming in, the mayor and the governor will step in before that to head it off. They don't want it to. They don't want it to come to something like that.
I tell you what, Civil War's coming, folks. It's coming.
I still think that the easiest thing to do is to just say, okay, let's take like Oregon, Washington State, California. Take some liberal states, East Coast, West Coast, because that's where the majority of liberals are, and say, okay, these are your utopias. When we construct the Trump wall, we're going to run it right up the West Coast and right up the East Coast, and we'll take the middle. You take the coastal areas, and you have your idea of how government's going to be. We have our idea. We'll run it our way. You run it your way. If you don't like it, there can be some doors in the wall, and you can say, I'm going to immigrate to New California or whatever we call it. And, but I think that the problem will be is that particularly people on the left have to control everything. So I don't think they're going to be so easily persuaded to go to those areas and stay there.
It's true.
I think they you have to submit to them.
It is 9
and you
o'clock.
have to agree with them, and you have to do.
That's what?
Yeah.
It's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Welcome to WZAA 106.9, Jeffersonville, Ohio.
Yes.
How's that?
Do you want to make me some coffee?
You want coffee? I just asked you, and you said you didn't want coffee.
She wants you to shut up. That's what.
So now you want coffee. All right, I'll make coffee.
Right to change your mind?
I'm teasing you. There is a lot of truth to what he said about the
some
left
cream,
thinks they
please.
have to be over. The left is so double-sided in their thinking. It's okay for me, but it's not okay for you. I mean, that's the way they
both
think.
sides.
Well, no, I don't think so. I
Well,
think
it's not my opinion.
that's just what I'm thinking. And plus, I still have the answer to the Star Spangled Banner problem that I asked earlier.
Well, that's because
Not
I
a-
don't think you're a leftist. I think you're more of a
You're a centrist.
constitutionalist.
Yeah. The
But,
Star Spangled
that's
Banner
just my opinion.
at
think so.
football games. Anyhow, here's the way you handle that. It's very simple. You just don't play the national anthem while the athletes are on the field. It's very simple. And I've said that from 2 years ago when we did this show.
Play
You
a song,
just
then let 'em come on out to
just
their
play
fight song.
and that's what we did in high school. I was a high school band director for 31 years, and 90% of the time we always played the national anthem while the teams were in the locker room, and we play the fight song when they come out, and we're ready to roll.
On our broadcasts, we don't show the national anthem because we get dinged by
Right.
YouTube for showing the national anthem
Cookie
and
Kim.
playing it. So, and then it just eliminates the fact that if anybody wants to do any kind of craziness during the national anthem, whatever it is, then
Right.
we're not showing it at all anyway. So do whatever it is you need to do, jumping around, standing, kneeling.
Well, let's just
Indian
take the politics
crisscross,
out
yeah.
of it. In the stands. Here's the thing: if you want to broadcast national anthem on TV, that's great. You know where you put your picture at? Not in the audience, not on the sidelines. Because hopefully the players put back in. Put on the flag.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's exactly right.
I mean, that can be fixed so easily, and
so
yet
there's a reason that it hasn't been, you see, to keep this continuous discord and disagreement.
Shane Duffield, good to see you, Shane. The other day, he said he's talking about moving back up here.
Yeah.
He said he joined your
did.
your club.
Prospecting for us.
They won't let me in, but that's okay.
You don't have a motorcycle.
Oh, that's right.
You gotta get the motorcycle.
What if I buy a little Matchbox?
Nope, that won't work. But you can ride a scooter.
I don't want to ride a scooter.
Dave's wife ride a scooter. Her name's Scooter. Her
I
road
don't.
name.
I don't want to ride a scooter.
No, you want the big old trike.
I want a trike. I want the one with training
And
wheels.
your name totally needs to be like Gravedigger or something because of the hearse. Because of the hearse, it
Because
needs to
of
be
the hearse.
something like that.
Well, I could be okay with that.
The Undertaker, Gravedigger, something
Yeah,
like that.
we got some music in there too. The musical Undertaker. There we go.
Yeah.
How's that? Let's see what else is on my list today. We've talked about Bethel. We've talked about Happy Obama Day and Trump's birthday, the riots, the statues, Atlanta, Star Spangled Banner, police officers, Seattle, CHOP, NASCAR. We've touched on a little bit. Yeah, the thing I do like about NASCAR is this: they took the lead on getting out there. You know what I mean? They took the lead on, at least they're doing something now. Major League Baseball is still arguing, and like Rick said, it's over.
I think that most sport will probably suffer. I don't think they're ever going to go back to a situation at NASCAR where they have the crowds that they did. They're cutting their base. I mean, just like with the flag or anything else that they start doing, especially if they're kneeling, and they're cutting the people that are NASCAR fans. These elitists or leftists or college professors or young people, they don't follow NASCAR. They don't care about NASCAR. These are all rednecks. And you're offending, and it's the same thing with some companies. They're literally cutting, they're cutting a portion of their, most capitalists say, I want everybody to buy from me. The more the merrier.
Well,
'cause
yeah.
But when you start picking sides.
Unless you're a dentist.
Yeah. When you start picking sides, you reduce, your potential as far as selling, to certain people. And that's going to be the problem. They're going to, just like the NFL or, the
NASCAR lost a lot of people when they let Toyota in several years ago.
Yeah, but they're going to lose more.
And they've lost a lot just the last several years. They need to do something to, get their crowds reinvigorated. I watch very little NASCAR. I just got this shirt because I thought it was cool as heck.
It's cool colors.
It's and it's a Jeff Gordon shirt, which he doesn't race anymore. But I applaud NASCAR for getting going and doing things. The rebel flag issue, I'm gonna be real honest. It's never offended me, but now maybe it does offend some people. But you know what? Okay, if we're not gonna have a rebel flag, let's not have Black Lives Matter flag.
Personally, as someone who's half black, I've never been offended by it. What?
Yeah.
You
It doesn't
are
work that
proud
way.
of your flag that you lost? Like, yay, we lost! Like,
Well,
wave it around.
You're
like,
not going to do away with the Black Lives Matter
whatever.
flag
Like,
because obviously
okay.
it matters.
I mean, the other thing is, it's part of history. Like, whatever. It doesn't go away because I
Isn't
tell
that
you to
part-
take it down.
Isn't that part of the Union Jack flag? Isn't that part of the?
Well, I mean, the state of Mississippi still has the Confederate flag as part of their flag. So what are you going to do there? They've already taken Confederate flags down in South Carolina over the court. And they're pulling down these statues, and so.
Well, how far are they going to go with this? Because I heard, like on the news, like the first
There's always going to
dozen
be
presidents
people.
were slave owners.
Yeah,
That's true.
they're
The
going.
early ones.
Yeah, they'll want to take presidents' pictures off of money. Of
Well,
course,
now
if
they're,
we're doing
like,
away with money, I
trying
guess it
to
won't matter.
rename schools and
Yes.
stuff because
Well,
like
Yes.
some schools
Well, the
are named
military
after
bases. They want
places-
to rename. There's a dozen military bases that are named after Confederate
Man,
generals.
Trump already said he's not going to do that.
They're trying to like take away cartoon characters,
The guns.
Elmer Fudd, the guns and stuff. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh yes,
They lost
cartoon
their-
characters. They're getting rid of Paw
Yosemite
Patrol
Sam.
because this one
Paw Patrol.
No, that's not
little
true.
like children's
That's fake
character.
news.
is,
Yeah,
like-
yeah. Paw Patrol. I've never even. I don't know what the hell is.
Heard of it. I ain't
It's
got
like
fake
a
news, though.
toddler's cartoon, and the one guy is like a cop.
I mean, I didn't even watch Dora.
She's exploring.
She's exploring.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
She was voted.
Find the map,
She-
there's the map. I don't like that.
she
I like
was voted
swiping
the
and
most
swiping.
annoying.
Swipe,
If
no,
if
swipe.
we are to, and that's the problem. The problem will not ever go away because there are people that want to be victims. And, just with the most recent Supreme Court, decision where they literally created a new law, the Supreme Court created the new law with the LGBT
Well,
movement.
we're now getting
What
a
does-
gay Disney movie coming out
What
with
is
like transgender.
what kind of
characters.
ramifications are we going to have? Are we going to be back to a situation where bakers are going to have to bake cakes for people that are having gay weddings? Are we back to a
Probably.
situation where, I don't know.
so,
I think
because
that's on
that
the
would be
employment
it's
side.
a
Are
private
we back?
business.
If,
they
if
have
it's a
their own
protected class
choice.
of people now, are we going to allow transgenders to compete? Men that are that
Equal
identify,
protection under the law.
But that's
men
that's on
that
the
identify
employment
as
side.
women will be allowed to participate in women's sports. Will be allowed to be in women's locker rooms. Where does it go? Because now that it's gone to the
Wait a
Supreme Court,
second.
how much?
What about little girls that want to play on boys' football teams?
Time
Well,
out.
they identify as men now, and they want to play on football
Time
teams.
out.
Well, I don't think they
All
have
right,
to
Everybody's going
identify.
too
Hold
far.
on.
You're
Charlie,
going too far.
Charlie wants to say something.
You're going too far here with this. I think the only thing with the ruling was dealing with employment. I don't think it's talking about any of these other
I
situations.
was pretty sure it dealt with the 14th Amendment.
I think it's just mainly employment. is
I
what
don't
this
think
dealing
so.
with.
And
think.
besides, it doesn't matter, Charlie, because like every other thing, once the door is cracked open, then little by little, chink, 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 chink. If you recall, the problem that gays had was that they couldn't go to the hospital and be with their loved one. They weren't allowed because they weren't considered or identified
to be
as family.
married or
Yeah.
family.
Well, then, they keep pushing the envelope. I have no problem with any law that protects people as long as they don't infringe upon my rights.
Correct.
That's more of a libertarian type of
I think
thought.
that's the way it should be.
And if you don't,
argument
if
here.
you're not forced to do something that goes against, your
Mm-hmm.
better judgment or your moral, creed, then I think that, by
You have the
God,
right not to
people,
do it.
People can live and let die, that.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I have no problem with people of the same sex marrying people of the same sex. But where does it stop? We already are seeing now the push to legalize pedophilia, to accept it, to make
now
Yeah, there's this whole
surely
movement
not.
online
even the
now
American
to
Medical
accept
Association or
maps.
American Psychiatric
It's like,
Association has said that pedophilia does not have any of having sex with children
I
has
understand.
no effect on their mental, or give them any problem.
Impossible. You gotta have screw loose in the first
Well,
place.
but we know that, but that's the way you're wired and you think. The problem will be, and that's the problem about opening that can of worms, is you get to a certain point and you push the envelope further and you push it further and you allow more and you
At
allow
what
more.
point
And
does it
it's
fall
like-
off the edge?
Well-
Minor attracted people, and we're supposed to be accepting them.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah. So there's
it-
like
it-
a push for that now on social media.
that's
See, now I say everybody should have equal rights. See, there I go. But then you got some people who have done things that have got allowed to get ourselves get the rights
And I'm
taken
just
away.
like,
Right. Sure.
So you see,
Well,
yeah, I
and-
know.
and,
But
you
once
know,
again, there isn't anything in the Constitution
here's-
that actually
here's-
I know.
gives anyone the right to take away your right.
That's also true.
So, I mean, technically, if you're a felon, that doesn't mean that you should, lose the right to possess a gun because
agree.
do you not have the right to protect
Protect
yourself like
yourself,
everyone
your
else,
home.
regardless of what you've done with that
Agreed.
gun? That's the problem. It's not written in the Constitution. So if you're a pure constitutionalist, the federal government has no control over any kind of drug. The federal government has no right in any kind of education. The federal government has no,
Right.
but we have seen this creep, as we call it, in our laws, in our rulings, and the problem has been that we have activist judges that are prepared to write law, and even legislators that cede their ability to write the law to people that are, we call it the fourth part of the government, which are people that write laws that are not legislators, but they write them. Look at Obamacare as an example. What it started out as a couple thousand pages until the people that wrote all the regulations made it 10,000 pages of regulation. And that's the problem. The legislators don't write every word of the law. They leave that up to the serfs.
But again, here's another simple fix. and I think this could take care of everybody. You have, guys, girls. I'm talking about the ruling yesterday. Then you have transgender. So guess what? If you're a girl that wants to play on the guys' team, no, you're transgender. You play on the transgender team.
Well, that would make sense, but of course, no one.
Then you have discrimination, and that's not equal opportunity.
No. How's no? Because it's equal. You're
So-
missing,
so-
no. Now you're missing the point. Girls, guys, and
the
equal. No, and
The other?
equal. It's your choice to be transgender. That's
but see,
three
transgender,
equal.
to me, again, either identifies with one or the other.
Well,
There's
that
no transgender.
Well,
there's
they're
I don't
choosing
know
to
how many
identify
genders do
as
they.
the other.
How many genders do they say there are? It's like
as far as
90s
I am concerned, there are two genders
biological.
biologically. What you do to change that?
But would
but
you be
it's still-
comfortable if you had? Well, you do have kids.
I do.
Would you have been comfortable if, when your daughter was little, a man that identified as a woman was able to go into the restroom?
No,
With
they
your dog.
have their transgender restroom. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
well, of
You
course
make it
they do, but
completely even.
that is not the
I feel
way
that's
government
like-
works.
but I'm not
Government,
buying- that's like
government,
white fountains and colored
especially the
fountains from the
liberal
60s.
side of
I
government.
don't buy that. That can't work.
Liberals want to
Okay.
force this
So let-
down your
Let me
throat.
go with this.
They want you to
To
accept.
me, it would make a whole world of difference if you made this decision after the age of 18, after you were an adult. And you could consent to actually making an adult decision if you wanted to be the other gender.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Because then you are, quote unquote, an adult, and you can
Well,
decide.
what
you wanna
age
be a
is that? We
male,
haven't even
a
agreed
woman.
on that.
Okay, well, let's.
21,
are we making the
18,
age of
19?
an adult,
I'd say
18, 21,
18.
whatever
10.
you decide the age of being an adult is. If
18.
you, and then you decide you want to get a sex change, take hormone drugs, be the other sex, whatever. I don't think as a child you are of the right mindset to decide you should be taking hormones
Your
to become
mind's
the other
not
sex.
developed
Can you
or-
smoke cigarettes if you're 18,
Plus,
Charlie?
after you take
Not anymore.
hormones,
Can
But
you
should
can
be
you
able
drink
to.
when you're 18,
No.
Charlie?
You should be able to.
Okay, so my point is, how confusing is it to young people? No wonder they're so screwed up when we've got these if, ands, or buts in
Yes,
everything. It's not
everything.
black and white. There's all this gray, and we purposely write law that way to be as vague as we possibly can,
Absolutely.
so that depending on who's the judge or who, you can always just
Who argues the point.
life's too
Yes.
You can
confusing in high
legislate.
school. You have all these decisions in life. You don't need to be deciding you want to be a different sex and be taking hormones.
Or
After
have an
you
abortion,
take hormones
or
for 1
anything
year,
else,
you can't
life-changing.
go back.
I agree. It should be one age, all that stuff.
I
Either
mean,
18
yeah.
or 21.
I say if you're old enough to be in the military.
Yeah,
Okay,
that you
but
should be
what
old
about
enough
driving?
to drink
Drink,
and
gun,
vote and have a
vote,
gun.
the whole-
and
What about
everything
driving?
else.
Should we wait till you're 18 to drive?
No, I don't think so.
Well, but you
I
can't.
had to wait till I was 18.
I
That's
know,
why
but
I'm-
you can't. That's the problem. If,
Well, it also depends on the area you live in because it's too hard to say you have to be 18 to drive in a rural area. I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
how
once
are you
again,
going to get to school at 18?
Yeah.
Before
the law,
18?
the law.
We'll
Are you a man? Are you a
ride
woman? Or are
a
you in between?
bus?
That's the problem.
Well, the driving part, I could argue each side of that because
Well, the
one
main
thing-
reason
You're
going
not mature enough to be driving.
I want my
really, when
kid to
you're
drive
young.
to school so I don't have to drive him. Or
Well-
I want my kid to run to the store to get me something like a pack of cigarettes. Oh, wait a minute, they can't because they're not old
Yeah.
enough to buy a pack of cigarettes.
But here's the thing too, and I've always argued this: if you wait until 18 to get your license, all your stuff in school, all your clubs, your bands, your sports teams, are going to go up in people joining them.
Well, yeah, because you're not going to be able to
You don't have
drive.
to worry about paying for a car payment. You don't have to be doing this. And really, I wouldn't have a problem with it being 18 just to get more. Even though it would have been a pain, I loved it when Crystal started to drive because then I didn't have to drive her all the time.
Right.
But
that convenience factor.
I will tell you, 18 even for driving isn't.
Well, and
I
we
mean, I
terrible
wasn't 18
thing.
until I was in college. I was 17 when I started college, so I
and,
couldn't.
and if you say that it cuts down on accidents, because we know 16-year-olds probably are one of the highest age groups that are involved in accidents because they're new drivers.
Right.
But if you were a new driver at 18, would those numbers be up high as well, or would you make better decisions? Like, I'm not pulling out in front of that 18-wheeler with only 2 seconds to spare.
I don't think it would make much difference today just because of cell phones. unions.
All right, you're not going to answer the question. How old do you think I was when I got my driver's license?
24.
You haven't got one yet.
You are both inaccurate. I'll give you a second guess.
She did actually have a driver's license.
But you don't
I
have
one. I don't have one now.
You don't have
but
one
how
current.
old was
And
I
we'll
when
get-
I first
Was it
got
from my- this country?
I was
Yes.
from this country. Yes.
Nebraska. Yeah.
15.
What's in Nebraska?
15.
13.
13, really?
And it was legal.
And Nebraska?
Hardship.
Well, and plus out in Nebraska, no one lives there anyhow, so you could like drive anywhere.
That's the
Well, my
problem.
dad was spec ops in the military, so you got to
Yeah.
be out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So we moved all the time, obviously.
Yep.
But in
so,
Nebraska, what is there to do
Everything's so far
besides
apart.
shuck corn?
You could like ride your horse to school, ride your tractor, or
Well, I remember kids riding their
so-
tractors to school. And I remember, I remember people coming to school and
Having the gun rack on their
all the
window?
gun racks in the back of the truck. Yeah.
With the gun.
Well, I mean, when I lived in
Yeah.
Dallas,
Yeah, with the
that
guns
was
in 'em.
not unfamiliar, and it probably is still that way. When I lived in Texas, the gun rack was right there on the back window, and there were a
Sure,
couple guns in it
everybody's,
all
yeah.
the time. Of course, in Houston, they always had shootouts on the interstate. People get pissed off at each other. They'd be getting out of their car and shooting each other. But
That's what that's really where we're heading back to.
Wild West.
Yep. You wanna
Everybody
do it.
will have
Everybody's
guns.
going to need to carry a gun.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have to. I mean, especially if you're in the big cities. Yeah, that's exactly. If they do away with police, everybody's going. It's going to get ugly, folks. I'm telling you, it's going to get ugly.
Oh, yeah.
No,
This
but
is
I
just
did
the
stop
tip of the
driving in
iceberg.
college because I have epilepsy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't have a license.
My
anymore.
wife never did get her license.
She tried.
She did attempt.
There were some attempts.
She never actually took the driver's test. I'd say she could probably pass it.
She practiced.
But she practiced something. Each time she practiced, someone always hit her. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. She's probably not meant to drive, to be honest with you.
I don't
'cause
have peripheral vision, so I can't pass the visual.
That doesn't make any
That
difference.
I
here in Ohio.
drive sometimes.
They'll coach you.
illegally,
It's like,
so.
didn't you see a dot there? Wasn't there a dot there? Well, they do that with old people, too.
I've seen that
Yeah.
before. I've seen when we took Crystal in for her driver's test when she's doing the maneuverability. This one guy that was testing this older lady, he was doing okay, you pass.
I like try to drive around the parking lot.
Well, they do the same thing in
It's kind of
Florida.
scary though, because I'm completely blind in one eye and I have double vision in the other eye, so I'm like sketched out.
Dang.
I'm like,
So Rick looks like a triple hunk to you.
Yeah, that's it.
hunky.
Hunky. Yep. So what else?
How's your coffee, Charlie?
It's great. Thank you.
Okay.
It's even better since you made it. Oh. Let's see. Kim, I don't know why you try. You'll never win an argument on that panel. But I know you'll never be
Is this
a
David
yes
Hiles?
sir, yes sir type
This is
person.
David's.
She doesn't have to win. We're
We
all
offered,
in this together.
We
Kim and I
offered
agree
David
more
to
than we
come in and
disagree.
help balance the panel a
I
little more.
asked him when we've been wanting David to come
And,
in.
and Kim has never had any problem with any violent acts by any of the people
I
on
don't
the
think
panel.
there's like winning or losing arguments on the panel.
And
I mean, I
actually-
think
we
we
can
have,
keep
like,
Rick
I
locked in the
think we
back
have
room if
good
that's the thing.
discussion.
Oh, that's why
I
we're at
mean-
opposite ends of the, we do that.
Now, did you guys catch on to the little Biden controversy here in the middle of the week?
You mean his like 10 seconds of,
Him riding around with the KKK member.
oh, yeah.
Oh.
no.
Robert Byrd, who's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Remember, he served in the Senate for years.
Well,
and
most
years.
of the KKK were Democrats.
Yes, they
and
were.
and they weren't Democrats that are now Republicans, as the Democrat Party would want you to believe.
Right.
They were Democrats that were Democrats, and they also were for slavery, and they were against. When even
Who
the
freed the
civil rights,
slaves?
the Civil Rights Amendment was voted on.
Lincoln, is that what you mean?
Well, Lincoln and a whole bunch of Republican leaders.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of the original
Most of the-
Republicans were black.
Were black.
And
That's-
a lot of
that's
people
right.
don't know that.
Yeah. So
They're like, oh,
About
Republicans
Abe
are these
Lincoln. I was
stodgy
talking
old
about
white
this
people.
the other
And I'm
day.
like,
Abe Lincoln was
really?
actually not really in favor of letting them stay here. He was in favor of repatriation. Take them all and send them back to Africa. That's
Yeah.
what Abraham Lincoln
think-
wanted to do. The Civil War was not over slavery; it was over states' rights. And
Right.
a lot of people can't get the
Understand
two
that.
separated.
yeah,
There was parts of both, yeah.
yeah.
But it's very true. The Republicans were more free. You know.
And somehow the tables have flipped over time. Now,
Well,
you see-
it's like looking
Well, it's
back
'cause
at John
Democratic
Kennedy
spin.
and saying, "Is John Kennedy John Kennedy today be considered a
I mean, he was
Republican
a
or a
Democrat
Democrat?"
then, but now he would
He
be
would
considered a
definitely-
Republican.
He-
so
he's-
there's a huge
That's
difference.
right. His policies would be far more Republican, but that's because the Democrat Party has become liberal, has
completely
become
changed.
progressive, has become
Such
So
and there are people that are on the right that can be considered what we call alt-right. You know that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
You know that.
Tea Party
just like we
people
have
years
the
ago.
radical
Call them the
left,
right-wing nuts.
you know,
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
got your
So-
alt-right, you've got your radical left, and there's people in between and all over the
That's
spectrum.
one thing about this show that's kind of nice. I think most people agree with one of us on here, and a lot of times we agree with ourselves because we are trying to pull in the reins on each side and shoot toward the middle.
Well, and I
We
think
see
that-
good things on both sides.
And we've never, and Kim can attest to this, we've never told her what she can say and can't say or where she can go with any conversation. I talk about my sex robots all the time. You know, it usually comes up at least once on every show, right?
Like it did just now.
for whatever reason.
And they're not all Republican or Democrat.
That one guy, he sells some of those too. By
Does
the
he?
way. Yeah.
Which one guy?
forget
Oh, the one that we're going to get in for the
Yeah,
live sales
he
show?
might come in for the live sales show. Yeah, he might be able to put some
Well,
of those on your
you see
sales show.
behind us, we've got some of the items that we're selling here.
You got some pots back
Yeah.
there.
Surprisingly, that cookie jar that's there behind
No one
Kim.
can see it.
Yeah,
Rick.
well,
not
it's
in the
behind Kim,
camera.
but
The white one, yeah.
that
Or-
cookie jar.
It's
how
from
old,
Italy.
Oh,
How old do you think that cookie jar is?
See it now?
Anyway, it's from the 1950s.
Yeah,
It's
that
from
cookie jar is
Italy.
as old as I am.
Huh?
That cookie jar,
It's
when I
in
was
it-
little, that was a
It's
cookie jar.
It's
yeah.
a cookie jar from the 1950s.
Right.
It's from Italy. It's hand painted. It's worth over $100.
That's real pretty.
Just a little cookie jar.
Anybody want to take a bid? We got 5, 10, 15, 15,
Well, we
15.
with the live sales show, we're
Who
going
would
to be
they-
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
Warren
be
Radcliffe,
there'll
but
be
he
a lot
wants
of
to
those
steal
things.
it. That's the only thing
yeah,
with Warren.
yeah.
Yeah, you ever see Warren? Warren, he's okay. I like Warren, but
It's for sale on eBay right now.
He's gonna steal it.
Well,
I've always seemed to have pretty fair dealings with him, but I don't know.
What do you buy from him?
He buys from me
Oh,
antiques.
okay.
Yeah.
Antiques.
Him
Well,
and my
we
dad
got several
along.
out there.
I had one deal with him, and he got the best of me on that one.
That's hard to believe, Charlie.
That's
And
what
partially,
the wheeler and dealers do.
partially it was my fault, but that's okay. I mean, I took a beating, but that's okay. I'm
And
not
he
ma-
keeps on
I'm not.
ticking.
I'm not bad. I'm not mad about it.
So
But just
I had one happen to me, Bobby Reinheimer. I'll be happy to tell you that one. He thought he was going to come in and help me and clean my dad's garage out while we were Dad was
was usually pretty fair.
No. Pennies on the dollar for everything my dad collected
Did
for
you sell 'em?
50 years. I sold them to him because I didn't know. And then comes another person on scene to let me know just how much I let go.
Oh.
So I got no
I hate
taste
people
for-
like that.
I do. When
like,
someone
don't try
dies,
to get
they're
one over on
vultures.
me. I hate
They don't want to be
people
around
like
trouble.
that.
When someone's dying, money's
I
coming.
hate-
what's
I
vultures?
hate people
That
like
guy's
that.
always Bob's always been fair with me on stuff.
That's
Real
what
fair.
everybody
He
says.
has. He has.
But
he
I
really
think
has.
he's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
all right. Well, now that we're going to be sued by
Yeah.
this Bob
No,
character.
he's not going to sue because I
Then
took his side.
What,
I got his
what
side.
I'm saying would have to be a lie to order to be sued for slander and
This
or
is not slander or libel.
libel. Cannot be. It would have to ruin his character as someone in a public
This
office.
is not defamation.
Correct.
And you noticed earlier when I was talking about the dentist office in Wilmington, I didn't say who it was. Matter of fact, I don't even know. I just kind of know the location. So,
the one by the post office.
Very
you said.
vague.
yeah, that's all I know.
Very vague.
And I don't know.
Uncooperative
I don't even
dentist.
know. I don't even know the guy's name, and I'm kind of glad to be honest.
Well, maybe they've had their wisdom teeth already removed
because I could
they're
put
not
it.
smart
What they
business
say?
people.
They put it on
Yelp.
What? No, on like when,
eBay?
no, like when somebody gets mad at you on Facebook, they put it on.
Oh, Clinton County exposed.
No, there's a word for it. They put it on.
Blast?
Blast.
Oh,
Yeah.
blast.
Low cap champion here.
Did you see? Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. I won't say it. But
You're not
all I
going
know is there's a lady that was unhappy because her new man was dating another woman, and somehow.
No, wait a minute.
She found out.
Was it her
Somewhat-
current man that was dating someone else while he was dating her?
She just
I
didn't
think
know
it
it,
was
I
an
guess.
ex.
She found
I think
out.
it was an ex.
Oh, an
Oh,
ex.
okay.
Well, then
Now,
what
the-
should she?
the new
What is she
girl-
mad about then? They ain't together.
I'm getting there.
Okay,
okay.
Charlie's going to explain this to
the,
us.
the new ex had the old girlfriend's shirt on, but somehow the old ex had all these interesting pictures of the new person, and ooh, there they were all up on Facebook for
Oh,
everybody.
so this was on.
I'm like,
Was it? But was it on Clinton County Exposed, or was it just
on their
Facebook?
page.
Just
on
Facebook.
their page.
Just on their
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like one picture; it was like
Well,
3 pictures.
That's a little.
And it was, oh my goodness. I was like, Rachel was looking at it
Distasteful.
with me. She's like, what are you looking at? I said, just come up on the Facebook feed. I about died. I'm like, wow. Yeah, she was not
She
happy.
must have gotten her feelings hurt.
She was not a happy camper. That's all I got to say. I mean,
Well, the wonders of social media.
There is
Scantily
no hell
clad.
like that.
It can be used for good. It can be used for evil.
Scorn.
This
love
is
and
why you do
scorn.
not send photos that can be used against you to people.
That is correct.
yes.
Okay.
Don't say,
So,
no
guys,
one-
before you take
no
those
one wants to
videos at home in the
see-
comfort of, don't do it.
no one wants to see that. I
No,
mean,
because it may appear
I don't
when
care
you
if
least
you're the
expect
most
it.
Come back
beautiful
to
person in
haunt
the
you.
world. No one wants to see that.
No one wants to see that. I'm with you.
And especially guys, no one wants to see that. And
Go to porn store. Buy it.
we even have an issue with that with one of the car guys. He was sending pics of his
Amorous pictures?
lower extremities to
Okay,
other
no
car
one
guys'
wants
wives.
to see that.
Other
Oh.
car
Especially
guys'
that.
wives. Yeah. So it's like I'm not gonna say who it
I
was.
feel
but-
like, especially, okay, millennial men, if a girl is not replying to your messages, I feel like this is their default strategy. I've sent her 35 messages. She's not replying to me. What do I do next? Oh, I'll send her a D pic.
That'll work.
That'll get her to reply to me. Yeah, probably like to block you.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
if she's not replying to you, bro, there's a reason, first of all.
got it.
Second of all,
Wasn't that
don't
what
send
Anthony
her a
Weiner was
picture of
doing?
your-
Was
Yeah.
was Weiner
Yeah, Anthony Weiner.
That
was doing
is
that.
not
Another
what she
Democrat.
wants.
sending
Wasn't it South Carolina or something, wasn't he? Now, he's
York.
with a
sending,
little girl.
sending those
New York.
pictures?
Now, something on the laptop.
You're thinking of somebody else. Anthony Weiner was the district attorney in New York City or something.
Yeah.
I thought this guy also had on his computer was all kinds of child.
Well, that was stuff that supposedly came from Hillary Clinton. That was Pizzagate. Yeah.
This was somewhere in North Carolina.
They
this
oh no,
person
they
and
they
his
found
wife.
on Weiner's
Well, there's that
computer.
Jeffrey Epstein too.
No.
Yeah,
He's-
he
they're
didn't
all
kill himself.
associated.
Still,
Yeah, he didn't.
I don't
kill
know,
himself.
but if she ain't replying, that is not what she wants.
Right.
That's
Right.
100% not what she wants to see.
I mean, at least you get a rise out of her.
If anything, she's going to tell you to F off and definitely not reply after that. Like, that is
I'm glad I don't have to worry about that, ain't you?
I'm going to tell you what. Oh yeah, I would never do that. I did tease a guy one time, and you guys know him, Andrew Mackin. It was his birthday, and now this is funny. You'll laugh at this. He said, "Okay, girls, it's my birthday. Send me your nude pics." You know, so or send me. He didn't say girls. He just said, "Okay, it's my birthday. Send me your nude pics." So I took a picture like right here up, no shirt on, and I sent it to him. That was funny. You got to admit. I mean, he laughed, and but the thing is, he used it against me. He had it blown up, and we used it for a gift exchange, a funny gift exchange. But what's
So
funny?
see, it comes back to haunt you, Charlie.
You know what's funny is somebody actually wanted it.
Oh. A not so secret
Someone that
Santa.
wasn't your wife.
No, it wasn't.
That's the, okay.
Which was a little weird. Just
You
a
know, I hear
little
people
weird.
are really into feet pics right now.
That
Into
is
what?
so
Feet
true.
pics. Feet.
You mean like a fetish type of
You
thing?
know, I have told people, I've had people tell me I should make an OnlyFans and only do feet pics, and I'm like, no. And they're like, but you can make good money doing
You can make
that.
some good money doing that.
That is so weird. Like,
Exactly, and it's feet.
I'm like,
you know,
it's just
it's
so. No, they're like, but I've got like some good angles you could do. I'm like,
Feet pics.
I can't even process that.
Well,
They're
I mean,
like,
there
you'll
are
make, like, at
there
least
are a lot of
$35 a picture.
fetishes
you
out
make
there.
more than
Feet are one of them.
I'm like, oh my God.
especially like you just sent the pictures, but especially if you chatted with people on like a webcam
Yeah,
and
I'm
showed your
like-
feet. Oh man,
Like, Lord
Sean Poole is watching. Sean Poole did say he will be here next week for a little while.
Oh, okay.
that's
All right.
cool.
Well, we'll have to set up a second camera over in the extensive other part of our studio.
Some guy named Jared Friend. Oh, that's my bodyguard.
Oh, yeah.
My
yeah.
Good
bodyguard is
morning,
watching.
Mr. President.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Look
Okay,
at the comment before his. Somebody,
So is-
Zach Henninger says, foot fetish is the most common fetish. Is that true?
Wouldn't doubt.
I don't
figured
know.
bondage was.
Zach,
Like BDSM and what?
Yeah, but
Zach
isn't
just graduated
bondage-
from high school. He don't even
Isn't
know
there
what
a
fetish
lot of
is.
fetishes
Just kidding,
that are
Zach.
a part of bondage? I mean, you know,
Yeah,
like,
but I don't think it's feet.
yeah.
Feet's in a thing all in
Man,
its
this
own.
thing went from talking about Bethel to
Well, like we started
NASCAR
with my
to-
sex robot.
Yeah,
that always
see,
gets. That
see,
always
I
gets.
think it's going.
See what you did.
Hey, they are getting.
think this is why
more
people
and
listen
more
to the radio.
Realistic.
I will say this though, and she is fully clothed. But Liz Summerfield, one of my contestants on my Chaz's pinup contest, she is right now in the running for the Maxim cover. So if you can find
Is Maxim like a men's magazine?
yeah, it's like
Yes.
it's like a
I mean,
I think it's more like a swimsuit magazine,
it's
like
more of a
lingerie,
soft,
kind
yeah,
of
it's
like
a
a.
very soft.
They cover themselves. It's like
But-
skimpy, but they're wearing coverage.
well, don't you think
They're
that
not nude.
you know, talking about? Don't you think that your imagination works better
yeah,
when
definitely.
women or men, I guess?
And that's why the pics don't work on when they send them through
Yeah.
Messenger because it's just right here.
yeah. It's like always.
To me.
Yeah.
Actually, my pic was probably more sexier because I just showed my shoulders.
No nips.
No, not at all. No.
Sydney,
I just
I
wanted
love
to say
you.
that.
Kim, what are you looking down like that for?
I am not. I just.
Are you
me
Because
checking?
and Sydney, I
we just have a connection.
we do. We have a connection.
I want to ask this next question since you said that, but I don't know if I should.
We like send these
Oh,
messages
we've already-
on Messenger.
Charlie,
to each
what's
other
ever
and,
stopped
like,
you
we
before?
What's ever stopped you before?
Sometimes we have these conversations and they're just emojis, but we know exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
And I'm kind of in the middle catching these brain waves, which is a little scary.
Is it?
We've got you in the
That's
middle,
why I'm
Charlie.
going to ask this next question. Body jewelry, yes or no?
Do we like it or do we have it?
I mean,
Yes or no? Yeah, I'm
Yes
okay.
and yes.
I mean, like I've had it in the past. I have had a belly button
Does
ring.
that include like earrings?
Like I have earrings on, obviously.
Yeah.
I've had my ears pierced in several different places. I had my belly button pierced, and I was wearing one of those dangly ones.
Yeah.
And I got caught on my jean shorts, like in a beach club, and it ripped out on
Yeah.
my shorts. I was wearing a white tank top, and it was bleeding so bad. Like I was so drunk, I didn't even notice. My girlfriends were like, "You are bleeding, like through your tank top,"
Did
and
you
I was
feel like
like,
it
I
ripped
didn't
out,
even
did ya?
feel it.
Well,
I
I mean,
was like
what about
so
the
turned
what
up.
about the the ones in your lip, you know, or the
I've
ones in
never
your
had one of
I
nose?
don't
or-
like the lip ones.
No,
well, I'm just
those
saying,
ones-
even
the
the
nose
even
studs
even
and
dangly
that.
earrings. If you got, you know, if you're around a little
The
kid or
nose
something.
studs I can live
do.
with. The lip thing, I just don't like it.
I've never had them anywhere
always
else
looks
on my
like the
face,
fish that
but
got
I've
away.
had several in my ears.
I think it's a pretty sexy thing myself.
What's
I like,
that?
I like
The
the
lip-
lip ring.
the
Yeah.
lip- yeah?
I mean, lip, my eyebrow, my nose, my belly button, a couple ears.
Yeah, see, I've never had a tattoo. I've never
I
had
got
a
I have no
piercing.
tattoos.
No
I have
tattoos, no
2
piercings. I
tattoos.
guess I'm just
Sean
Too
Poole
hip.
wants to remind everybody also that he is performing this Saturday night out Walnut Lake Campground right across the road over here.
now. So the campgrounds are open. And that's the
Yep.
other thing that we were now. This Friday, the casinos are supposed to be opening,
Yep.
and we've got 2 here, but we don't know whether we really have them or not
The one in
because
Sabina's been open already.
Yeah, the one in Savannah's already
And
open.
they've been, you've been driving by there?
Yeah, packed.
It's like the other day I drove by there Sunday morning. Or no, it was
well,
Sunday
who's going to
evening.
close them unless
think-
the police come in or the health
I think
department
there
or
was
whatever?
more people at the casino than there was at the church next to
certain of
Sabina.
Well, maybe they came over from the church. You
Oh
know,
my
it's like-
gosh, I couldn't believe it.
Praise Jesus, the casino's open.
But the casinos here, you know, we've got these internet casinos,
Right.
and I don't think either one
Here's
of them's
my
going to
offering.
reopen.
Put
So
in the slot machine.
even this big one up here, we've
has been open.
we've not seen anyone up there like cleaning. You'd think they'd at least start picking up trash. They've got to
There's literally
overturn.
like a turned over more trash barrels up there
Yeah,
and stuff.
we,
I don't know
we
if they've
figured
just,
that
like,
they
not
would,
been paying the
get
rent
ready
or
because
what's
you
up.
got to
I
get
don't
everything
know.
wiped down, and you got, you
They
got to.
gotta probably move
Well-
the
Who's gonna
machines
come in and
apart or
check that
something.
you
Well, I don't know, but I mean, the health department, you have to. I think you have to sort of be pre-approved with whatever protocol you're supposed to be using. I don't know, but the bottom line is, and I would think that the state in particular would be interested in trying to crack down as much as they can on these internet casinos because they take away revenue from the state casinos.
The big ones.
Yeah.
so.
So
I'm sure the state gets their piece of that too. Though.
well,
see
they
the
do.
fun
I
of
mean,
the
like
gambling
Jeffersonville, here
online.
in Jeffersonville, they get, I think it's $75 per year for each machine. So as an example, I think the one up on this side have like 100 machines. That's $7,500 that goes to Jeffersonville. So there are, obviously, and they didn't do that initially. They just came up with that.
Right.
Let's go ahead and put a tax on it. But everybody's got their fingers in the pot. But I don't think either one of them are going to reopen.
I
It just
could
doesn't
see
appear
the
that
bigger
way.
one possibly reopening that used to get a lot of business, but this
Yeah.
smaller one that only got like 2 or 3 cars a week, and
Yeah,
probably not.
I don't see that.
But I
can't
mean,
see
I
how
don't
they
know.
could even,
Once the
like, pay the
casinos
back
are open, do
rent,
we have
but-
anything left that has has to stay? I don't think. I think everything's been open.
Well, Cedar Creek's open, but I have some news here, local news that might be of interest, especially to our listeners. We're June 27th. We are having a car show in Sabina that day. to
Well, you
salute
just
the
had one at
veterans.
Cedars Creek this past weekend.
We just
didn't
had
you?
one at Caesar, and that's where I get this information from.
Oh,
Caesar
okay.
Creek. We had 50 cars out there Sunday. It was a
Well,
nice
that's not
time.
bad.
But drum roll, please. Drum roll. Here we go. Caesar Creek is going to eventually install a drive-in movie theater screen, and you're going to be able to go to the drive-in again out at Caesar Creek. And see, they the owners of Caesar Creek also own the Dixie Drive-In in Dayton, so they
Which
know
is
how
still
to
a
do this.
successful drive-in
Yeah.
theater. Now,
Now wait a minute, we got one more big announcement. Drum roll again. June 27th, for $100 a car. That's what the price is all over the country. They're going to put up a temporary screen out Caesar Creek for the Garth Brooks concert that's being shown all over the United States, and it's $100 a car.
but I
As
thought
many
Garth
people
was
as-
actually performing live here in Ohio somewhere.
Well, he might be, but for that night, if you want to go see a Garth Brooks concert live via video at the drive-in, it's $100
Now,
a
Kim,
car.
you should know where Garth Brooks was born.
Oklahoma.
That's right, Oklahoma
So,
City.
That's June 27th, 9 o'clock. So be there. $100 a car.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody asked me how many we could get in Hearst. We could probably, if y'all wanted to roll in there, we could probably get 10, 15
So
people.
you put people in the hearse, and then they pile out of the
Yeah,
hearse,
you could have some chairs.
and then
there.
watch the. And so they're putting up a temporary screen.
For that night, they're putting up a temporary drive-in movie theater screen, but plans are in the works to put a drive-in movie.
Well,
And a lot of flea markets do that. The one in Columbus, every Wednesday they have a flea market there, and then on the weekends they have a flea market during the day.
So is this
drive-in movie
is
at
this a digital screen that will eventually be there?
It'll have to be. That's all
because
they use.
you can't. There's no old style
Right.
movies.
It'll have to be.
Yeah.
They looked into buying the one in Wilmington because I didn't know this, but that was the oldest drive-in movie theater in the state of Ohio.
I didn't know that either.
And
I thought it was the one in
they,
Greenville.
Well, it still is, Charlie.
but they're just not using it.
Oh, it's
But
not open.
they they were going to try to buy it, but the price was just
No,
way
the
too
Well,
asking
now I
price.
just have to go because you know how much I love country music, and I just love people
Oh,
and
yeah.
concerts
Yeah.
and the outdoors.
You'll get it
and,
all in
like,
one.
I'm gonna get
People,
to do it all
country
at one
music.
time.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Do you hear any sarcasm in her voice?
It's just thick as freaking mayonnaise coming at me. Yeah. Gosh darn. Well, I'm just letting you know about it. That's all. So,
Well,
right.
our viewers might like this information, so I'm glad.
Well,
you
because
told me.
most of our viewers are probably here locally, and most of the people in this area probably
it's
like
$100
country
a
music.
car, which sounds high, but you can get
But
as
if
many
you
people
split
in there.
it between like 4 people, that's only $25 a person.
Right. And if you go see Garth Brooks live, you're talking probably $100 per person a ticket.
So that is a
Or
good
more.
deal. Be thrifty. Pack a lunch, and then it's even cheaper.
Yeah. I think we're going to go. I think we're planning on going.
Are
Are
you?
you?
Yeah.
Take a picture of margaritas.
You and who
It'll be
else?
like
Me and my wife.
Some kind of country
Me and
song.
my wife, maybe my daughter if she wants to go, and her boyfriend.
Anyone that will help reduce the $100 cost that you're going to incur. Is that what you're saying? All right. Well,
Maybe me and Jared could come along.
yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
We'd love to throw you in the back
You'll
of
get
the
it down
hearse.
to like $20 a ticket.
We'd love to throw you in. See, we could park like down there on 68 somewhere, like at Roberts, and you could get in the back of the hearse and ride on up. From
Yeah,
there.
everybody, the whole club come on.
That'd be yeah. Well, I don't know if we get your club
So
in
I
the
mean,
hearse.
if you came in on a motorcycle,
not
it'd
that
be
many of
$100
them,
a
but
motorcycle,
They
right?
pack a lot of meat. That's all I gotta say.
Wow.
They pack a lot of meat. True.
What?
Your motorcycle club.
Yes.
I don't know if we could get all your motorcycle club in the back of the hearse.
It's
You know
Jared's
what?
motorcycle
You know what? I would love to try that though. That'd be fun. That'd be funny.
That'd be a challenge.
That'd be like the old Volkswagen days.
You could, like,
back
film
in the
it and put
60s.
it
Where they
on
packed the
TikTok.
boat.
70s,
What about
yeah.
the phone booth?
I mean, like
They
a
don't-
clown
Oh, yeah.
car.
They don't have
phone
phone
booth,
booths
yeah.
anymore, but you always college kids were always crowding into the phone booth.
I bet you we could stack them probably 3 or 4 high in the hearse, 2 rows. So that'd be 8.
I wouldn't. You'd have to plan this out because you're bigger people, stronger people that
You
have
know
to be on
what?
the
We'd
bottom.
probably do like 3 or 4 in the back, maybe a couple this way, right behind the seat, and 3 in the front
You
seat.
could put someone in the coffin.
Well, it takes coffee.
in all honesty, didn't they do that anyway at drive-in theaters?
Yes.
Did you ever
Stick
seen
people in the
Grease?
trunk.
Yeah, throw 'em in the trunk,
Throw them in the
yeah.
trunk. Don't have to pay
Pile
for
out.
them.
Guy Durham, what's going on, Guy Durham? Chris Bogan's watching. Nancy Rowland, Angel Poole, Zach Henniger. He's from Texas. Chris Bogan.
Don't mess with Texas.
Chris Bogan's one of our service people. Are you still out in San Diego, or where are you at now, Chris? Guy Durham's watching us from St. Louis, Missouri. Guy Durham, when you get tired of that 3-wheeler, you just need to think about your buddy here in Ohio and just get that thing sent to me, all right?
You want
right.
it for the cheap, right?
Yeah, well, Guy will take care of me. Guy's a heck of a guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Get it? Guy's
He's a heck of a guy.
Patty Moore Gillian. That's you. That's you whistling there, Dixie.
Yeah, she's
All
got
right.
it too close to
We
her
can't say
phone.
that, can we? Can we
What's
say
that?
whistling Dixie?
I don't
good
know.
grief.
It's probably going to offend someone.
What about the Dukes now? The Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh,
What?
I know. They wanted to take the daggone X off the General Lee.
Well, it's not an X. It's called the Rebel
Rebel
flag.
Yes.
The stars and
Yes.
bars.
Yes.
Yeah.
They took
The car's name is
Gone with the
General
Wind
Lee.
off the movie channel. Although that was the first black woman to ever win a Oscar.
Mammy,
Yeah.
Chris,
is that right?
Chris
Yeah.
Bogan
It's a very good movie.
is in Virginia.
She won an Oscar.
Yes.
I tell you, a good show to watch on Netflix is that Hollywood. That's a real. But there
Okay.
again,
Oh,
I
right.
tell you what, you can't turn on the TV anymore without seeing guys kissing guys.
No.
And that show has a lot of that in it. But the show overall was really pretty good. But
Well, it's Hollywood. What do you expect? Who are you?
I don't. I just.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that, but that once again, the agenda has to be pushed. In so many
Oh,
of these.
my.
And once it's like I said, live. As long as you're not hurting anyone, but at the same time, you can change the channel. You don't have to
Exactly.
watch the program.
Exactly.
So if you don't, and I've stopped
Yep.
watching certain programs because I was tired. It wasn't even being offended. I was just tired
Of it being thrown upon
of
you.
it being forced in my face. And yes, I know that there are people that are different than me, that think different than me, that want to be different. That's fine. Just I don't want to watch it. So right now we're watching on Amazon Prime.
Oh, there's a good one
There's some
on
good
there.
ones on there.
It starts with a C.
We've been watching
I'll have to ask Sydney what but it starts with a C. But it's an interesting.
I'll have to look at one up, which will tell you about it. Because
Yeah.
there's one I watched on there the whole first season. It's got, I think, De Niro in it. But it's like the Nazis are coming back in modern day. Have you seen that one? I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Storm,
It's-
Mother.
This isn't where the country was divided up into 3 different sections.
No,
Yeah.
no. I've seen
What
parts
are
of
we
that
what are
one.
we
Yeah, I think it's
watching?
called
What are we
Motherland.
watching on Prime now? It starts with a C. What is
That's a
that program?
different. That's the one he's talking about. I'm talking about a different one.
Okay.
Is this an S? Oh, Salvation.
What's
That's what we're watching.
what's the one on there that has
The C was the one
Nazis
before
coming
that.
back?
Counterpart. Yeah.
That has the Nazis coming back. It's a neat show. It really is. It's a good show. I'll have to. Mackin knows it, and Mackin's probably not watching, but I'll find out what it was. We watched it, and it was really good. But it's been like it was right at the beginning of the Corona.
Well, I think that what we'll probably see, there are going to be more. But see, there's a lot of movies that we watched, like through one season and second season, and then they can't do anything else because this one movie was being, filmed all over the world. They can't do that anymore right now. So I don't know. Hollywood is, they're not able to go on location a lot.
No.
So, if you've got something that takes place in the back seat of a car and that's the only place that you have to have it, I guess that's okay. But, or, in an office or something like that. But if you're getting people out and around, the country or around the world, right now, you just can't film that.
No.
Were you talking about Jack Ryan?
Yeah. That was another one. But I think, Jack Ryan, he was all over, traipsing all over the world.
The second season was shot, a lot of it in Venezuela.
Yeah, so you had the first season and the second season, and the third season was supposed to have taken place again, I think in the spring, but they have run into a brick wall with the Corona.
The Corona.
And so what do we think? I'll get your opinion even from Looney Tune down there. The Corona, do you think that things will shut down again if we see a resurgence?
I do.
So you think
And
that
I think we're going to see a resurgence.
do you think that the governors will shut states down and that the people will comply? That's
this
the
time
question.
around is the
Do you
question.
think,
This
do you
was a
think
test this
business
first
will
time.
comply?
I don't think so.
Do you think we will vote by mail?
I do, and I don't like that idea at
Well,
all.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I'm afraid
I think
that's what they're
that
gonna-
will be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
You want to vote in person.
Well, I think that most people, maybe younger people, they don't care. They don't vote anyway.
In the
So
state
I guess
Right.
it
of
doesn't matter.
Ohio, there is absolutely no argument to do that because right now you can vote by mail in the state of Ohio, and you can go to the polls. So there's.
Here's my question:
If
who's
anybody-
counting those votes? Does all of those mailed-in votes get?
You mean the harvested
arrived?
votes?
You see what
You
I'm
know,
trying to say?
yeah.
There's no
But
way
you can do it now.
We have seen evidence
Well-
I like it
all
by an
over,
absentee ballot, but what if those don't get counted?
we have seen evidence all over the country of all these ballots that have just been misplaced or misdelivered, or
Right.
like large stacks of ballots that have just been shown up at people.
You were
Counted.
pretty young,
Right.
but do you remember the hanging chads in the?
Oh, yeah.
In the
And
2000s?
that was in Florida. Yeah.
All of these ballots for dead people that are being counted. I
Uh-huh.
mean, what is that about? Or like
Well,
Social Security
here's
numbers
the
of
bottom
people
line.
that don't exist.
The
Like,
minute that people lose faith in their ability to get rid of politicians by elections, that's when the Civil War starts. Because when people have no confidence, they already don't have confidence in their government. They know that it's screwed up. But when they and a lot of people have no confidence in their police departments. When we lose the ability to at least think that we can change things by going to the polls and voting, or we think that the vote has been compromised, and you know what's going to happen this election, regardless of who wins. The other side will claim that something was going on. So
And then remember in the Iowa caucuses when they tried this like electronic voting,
And-
where they could like text and vote, and then they
Yeah,
couldn't even get
this
the
was
results
Iowa.
right for 3
oh,
days.
it was terrible. Yeah.
And they were rigging them
The
themselves.
system's been in place for 200 years.
Like,
Todd Walker
yeah.
said he never got his mail. Now I got my mail-in ballot, and I didn't mail it back. I took it right to the Board of Elections and put it in the box outside.
Right.
But yeah, one thing about doing a mail-in ballot, there's anybody wants to argue that they want to vote by mail, shut up. You already can. There's no argument. You
Well,
can
and of
argue.
course,
That's
my
been a thing. You've
thought
always been
is,
able to vote
first
by
of
mail.
all, not that we're trying to suppress anyone's vote because it works for both sides, but I once again think that we allow too much time for people to be able to vote. Now, if you're out of the country or you're in the military out of the country, that's one thing. But when you're talking about people in this country that just they're going to be on vacation or whatever, and so they,
You vote absentee.
I
mean,
think that absentee ballots should only be given to people. Once again, the way they used to do it was that you had to have, a reasonable excuse as to why you couldn't vote in person. But I do think that we should extend our actual in-person voting to at least 3 days.
I think
and
that's
I
right,
said,
too.
like maybe a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For the people that actually work, there's a few of us still out there, they can go in and they can vote and not have to worry about taking off from work or rushing in, at 7 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock at night before the polls close in order to vote. And things go wrong too, so that just complicates things.
Right.
But if you had, at least 3 days to vote in person, along with a certain period, not a month. I think that, even when you talk about, sending your ballot by mail, it should only be a limit, 10 days, something like that. And it should be for a valid reason, not just because you are too lazy to get up off your button. Now, the coronavirus, I think that if they're worried about it reoccurring, I think that Trump should continue to be president till such time as the coronavirus is over, and it will end very quickly. Things will open back up.
Won't that be neat?
Yeah,
How
wouldn't that be?
interesting that'll
So they're not going to give Trump the ability to remain in office any longer than Although
What about a
I would
second
be up,
wave of stimulus checks? Do you think that's coming?
It
We
should.
still haven't gotten our first one,
It
so
should.
Yeah,
I'll
so-
keep you posted.
yeah.
Me either.
I'm going to say some shout outs here to Brenda Barnes, Timothy Cross, Charles Jeffers II,
Hey,
Todd
guys.
Walker, Justin Mullador, Phyllis Davis.
What
boys.
up, homies?
Appreciate you guys watching. Hey, if you guys don't mind, those of you watching, hit that little share button.
Share the
Share the
show.
Share the show. Help us out here a little bit. I don't know how many views we finally got to last week because it kept coming up as watch party and it wouldn't show me how many views we had total.
We had a watch party.
I didn't check.
I didn't even watch.
Well, you know what's bad is
I missed the party.
It's a party.
they
it's a
didn't even
party.
ask. They just do that. And I know the last number I saw was like 1,500, but that was like that morning.
Well, the week
So-
before, didn't we have like 2,500?
Well, we've had up to
that.
2,500
Yeah.
one week, but then
What happened to the days of 10,000?
Well, I'm just not sharing it as much.
Well, it's not just that.
And that's we need
I mean,
everybody sharing.
The problem is that social media, they keep raising that bar. So they change their analytics.
Well, the
They-
problem is that social media platforms keep changing how they rank things and how they do all of their showing up in the feeds and what the content is. Sometimes they bury certain things,
Yeah,
certain
and-
topics.
Are you saying we
And-
might be getting buried?
Well, no, we're
Yeah.
probably, that's why we've got our token down here so that we don't get shadow banned.
Because if
we'll
we
let
talk
her-
about too
we'll let
much
her-
conservative stuff, then
That's
we
right.
wouldn't
So
show up at
we
all.
get some off the wall liberal
think
stuff
we talk
in
about
order
everything
to
here.
keep us
I think so.
from getting banned.
and some, not all liberal things are bad. We're just talking about
Well, I mean,
ideas and beliefs.
yeah, no, there are a number of things that I think that fall in the more progressive ideology that I would agree with.
Like my tranquilizer.
No,
I still think
the
Ninja
tranquilizers
Stars
great.
are the way to go. Ninja Stars
Get rid of
for
the
sure.
tasers and tranquilizer acid. I mean, that's just the way
it's
I
like the
look at it.
waterboarding with me.
I
Just
want
shoot the
Ninja
people. Just shoot them.
Stars.
Just shoot them.
Ninja Stars.
I don't want to shoot them because then, even
Have you ever thrown a Ninja Star?
no. And
I mean, it's a pretty dope feeling. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, I probably couldn't hit that green screen over there with a Ninja Star.
Well, there's
So, now with a tranquilizer, I could probably hit that green screen.
Well, I don't know. What kind of distance would they have? And do they have those little feathers on them like an arrow? Does the wind affect them if it's really windy?
I mean, if you watch them, they do elephants and big gorillas and tigers and stuff in zoos. So
Yeah.
the same principle. would
Lions and
apply.
tigers and bears. Oh my!
But once again, would you have to be very close with those, or you wouldn't get the distance? I mean, when you're talking about a 38, it has some pretty good distance.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the wind affecting it.
Well, you'd only want it to have the power of like a 22, because
Well,
you're
no,
not trying to
rifle,
put
yeah.
someone down. Like,
Well, I mean, a
you're
22.
not trying to kill them. You just
A
want to
22 is not going to do anything.
This is my
it'll
point.
get it
You're
over
only
with.
trying
Unless
to,
you got the gun to the back of their
train
head,
them.
a 20.
You're not trying
you
to,
can't
like,
even,
kill 'em.
You
You
can't
just
even
wanna
put someone's eye
neutralize
out
the
with a 22
subject.
unless you're holding it up to their head.
This is my point. You're neutralizing. You're not trying to kill them.
Right. With my tranquilizer.
With
With
Yeah.
a tranquilizer. This is not to kill.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the whole
You-
idea.
You show up at my house unannounced, and I'm not going to trank you. So
This
Maybe-
isn't for
maybe
your
we oughta-
protection of
maybe
your
we oughta
house. This
write
is
a
for the
bill. Maybe we ought
police.
to call our congressman and say, let's do away with tasers and just add tranquilizer guns.
well,
You guys all laugh and watch.
No,
this
there's-
might happen.
No, they're trying to do away with, for instance, tear gas and those kinds of things. And the Geneva Convention, I think, they actually outlawed that, so they weren't. But they use it in Europe all
I
the
think it's
time.
certain types of
the
tear
bastion
gas.
of liberalism in Europe. those people over there, they, you know, they.
I think they're not liking it as open.
I like the
borders
water
anymore.
cannons. That's back to waterboarding. You know, just sort of.
Okay,
shoot
what is
water.
it?
aren't you? I love the water. I'm a, you know.
It's only because he knows I don't know how to swim.
He's been on that water boarding kick for at least since 17.
Hey, by the way, since we do have a little bit of an audience here, if anybody have anything for rent in Sabina, let me know. A friend of mine's looking. I don't have anything.
I was going to say,
I
Charlie,
was like, are you moving?
Now, do you still have that other house in Sabina?
I have another house in Sabina. I still have a 3-unit in Wilmington for right now.
Are they all full?
Oh, yeah, and I tell you what, give me some wood here. I tell you
like,
what, I have got some
Great,
awesome,
great tenants.
awesome renters right now. One's getting ready to have a baby. She's a nice girl. Her and her boyfriend, and they're my new ones. They've only been there a couple months, but they've been doing all kinds of stuff to help get my property cleaned up. I'm giving them credit, and it's like, oh man,
Good incentive. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've just all my renters right now are one guy. Well, Dave Foster, you guys knew Dave.
He's trouble, isn't he?
He's lived there for probably 10 years or more now.
Yeah.
So, and the other people in that place, they've lived there a couple of years. And my one in Sabina, that lady now is going on 2 years. So,
But wouldn't you say that probably most of your properties are rented below market value
I'm
to
a
keep good tenants?
very easy renter. I'm a very easy landlord. I've never had to evict anybody. Well, I've had problems with people, and I just get rid of them. You know, we just do it on our own ways.
Yeah,
But,
late at night with the
now
hoods.
I got some backbone. I got my bodyguard now too that can come with me if I want
I
to
had to
evict
take my
anybody.
renters to court, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I know, but
They
mine-
weren't. They were more like squatters, weren't they? or
Well,
something?
and I tell you what, I've owned my rentals now for 20 years. Is that right? No, that's wrong. Yeah, no, 20 years, I think. Yeah. No, it's around 21, 22 years I've owned them. And one's paid off, one's not paid off, but I don't care because it's good tax
It
write-off.
pays, yeah, and it
Yeah.
still
Good
pays.
tax write-off. Oh, yeah, well, it pays for itself.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So that's worrisome because, with this corona thing, and I'm not the only person, but it's hurt a lot of people in the pocketbook. And it hurt me bad in the pocketbook. Now, things are starting to get going again. And so it's getting better now. But, Fifth Third, I talked to them, and then I don't have to pay my mortgage for 6 months just to.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah, well, but here's the deal. They want it all at the end of 6 months. But.
You mean
they
like in a balloon payment?
Yeah, but they said they will still work with you at the end of 6 months. So what I'm hoping.
Well, a lot of mortgage companies, I think, are tacking the money
on
on
the
the
end.
end of the mortgage. They're
Yeah.
just extending it.
Well,
Yeah.
but
And you're still paying interest on it, though.
My goal is this. My goal is if I don't have all 6 months, I'm hoping to have at least 4, maybe even 5 months to pay them. That way I only got maybe extended a month at the end.
Yeah,
so
that's not
that
bad.
won't be bad. But who knows what's going to happen? It's like Kim says here. If we have the corona outbreak again, are we going to be all?
I don't think
Shut
it's a
down
doubt
again.
we're going to have
Well,
an outbreak.
whether we have it or not, I think that we've learned from the first time round that you're better off not holding up at home. You're better off in getting out there and building up your herd immunity. I'm going to check season.
22 is more deadly than most guns. Bullet bounces around inside. And that comes from a military guy, Chris Bogan. And he proudly serves. He's in Virginia now, but he used to watch us when he was out in San Diego. And he's a Navy guy out in Virginia, a super nice guy. I'm pretty sure I DJ'd his wedding. So. It's
Well,
been a
I hate
while.
to be that person, guys, but it's 10 o'clock. So
Is it really 10 o'clock?
It is 10 o'clock.
This
Well, that's
morning
all right.
flew by. You guys still need a clock in here. I need to bring you a clock.
I thought you had one over there.
We have clocks everywhere, just not one in
We
front of
need
us
one
that-
where we can see. That's the problem. Well, you're listening to WZAA 106.9 LPFM. And this was the morning zoo today.
in Jeffersonville, Ohio.
And we're going to stay here for a minute because Rick needs to shut us
Hey,
off the
Rick,
air.
can you come turn us off?
I thought he was supposed to turn you on. Oh, good. The gaming
right.
center might be open. Hey, everybody have a great day.
Have a great day. Have a
guys.
great week.
Follow Chaz's DJ service and event planning on Facebook.
We're in this together.
for all the car shows.
I hate that. We're in this together.
We're all
That's so
in
cheesy.
this together.
That's so cheesy. No, I haven't turned this off yet.
Okay, well, go turn us off.
He wants to say a last word.
Well, I don't have to
What's
say
your
this.
last word today?
Let's
Everybody
hear it,
say
Big
your last
Chief.
word.
Right.
Everybody's
I have
got
nothing.
Go
I have
team,
nothing
go.
pithy or
30
witty.
seconds.
Witty to say.
I find that impossible.
30 seconds.
Yeah. I'm gonna
He
have me a
passed.
Waterboarding.
30
I'm
seconds.
gonna have me a
Chocolate
fudge
cookies.
mint cookie.
30
All right.
seconds.
We'll see everyone.
Go read my new article on letsgetpersonal.com.
Let's get personal.com, Chaz's DJ service, event planning, and also what's the motorcycle club called?
The Sawmen Union.
The Sawmen Union. Check out the Sawmen Union. Sean Poole next Tuesday here. Everybody have a great week. See you.
Bye.